WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincaid Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show. On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Yeah, we get this Tuesday morning going. John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob's microphone looks very stiff to start the day.
Were you messing with it?
I did not touch it. I do not manipulate your microphone. Other people around here do, but I'm just trying to make sure that it's all taken care of there. What are you handling the pimple ball with?
Well, Connor sometimes needs a reminder to work a little harder, so I'll go behind a hallway behind him where he doesn't know I am, and I'll throw the ball at him.
So
and
that way
hit him in the back of the head so that, wake up, let's go.
That is nice.
Yeah, so
you
got to
nice.
do what you got to do.
That is a big morning. Pat, does Coach have to do that to you? Does he pelt you with a pimple ball?
Why do you think I hide in the mornings?
That's what it is.
Like, I don't need this dude finding me around a dark corner. I'm all right.
Coach is all right this morning.
I don't know what he does in his free time.
We haven't figured it out.
I don't want to find out.
I don't think the folks at NCIS have either.
I don't want to be pegged by Coach.
Well, that's a whole nother issue. It's a whole nother issue.
Not again, Coach. Not again.
It was only that one time, Pat. And it was a mistake.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one.
Pat, you got the job.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing. Bradford White water heaters are here for the pro. We appreciate Bradford White. And I had a weird feeling this morning as the hot water was cascading down. Maybe it was delirium. Maybe it was just overly optimistic. That tonight has the potential to be something very, very different. And I see the point spread as 7.5 on my Bet Parks app to start the day for Game 5 tonight in Boston. But I wake up this morning feeling extremely optimistic about their chances. And I'm wondering, could it be gas or could it be something else? Could there be something to it? And my overly clinical mind is trying to come up with ways to say, okay, you're not just trying to be fanboy here. You're not just trying to come up with something that's a reason to feel optimistic. I keep going back, and I watched some of the Boston media yesterday coverage of Game 4. They're killing Joe Mazzulla. He's getting crushed up there. He's getting crushed as unprepared. He doesn't call timeouts. The fact that was the big talk on Boston Sports Radio yesterday, on our sister station, the Sports Hub, that he didn't call timeout with 6-something seconds to go with an opportunity to, get the. He just lets it fly. And one of the things they were talking about on the Sports Hub was, does he have a plan? Is that the reason he just wants them to play? Because he can't call them over and come up with something that all the veterans are going to buy into. And he just says, let the boys play. Let them play. Let it fly.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people yesterday around the league, and that subject was brought up. I would say it was more split on that he did the right thing. Let your players play. You have 3,000 inbounds plays. It's not like you don't have them. But do you want to allow a defense to get set? Do you want to allow your offense, which has been, you have some stars on that offensive side of the ball, especially in Tatum and Jalen Brown, to just free for all and do what they do? The biggest complaint I got from people yesterday was he shouldn't have played for the last shot. Get a shot as quickly as you can and give yourself a chance to get an offensive rebound, get a foul, whatever it may be.
Get your best shot.
Yeah.
Whether it comes with 3 seconds left, whatever.
Yeah. Disappointment in people I talk to that Jason Tatum, a blossoming star, or already a star. I shouldn't say that.
He is a star, sure.
I always say he's younger than he is, I feel. That, he passed up 2 chances to take game-winning shots.
By the way, he has a couple times in this series, he's sort of passed on opportunities.
Well, he did it 2 times in that game alone
Exactly.
at the end of regulation and overtime. So, mixed emotions there. What I kept asking everybody was, would you rather be Philadelphia or would you rather be Boston?
I'd rather be Boston with 2 games at home.
Yeah, and that's the overwhelming feeling. And that's the word that I got after it. Oh, I'd rather be Boston. And the big butts came to the secondary players. Can the Sixers' secondary players be better than Boston's? Because it appears they could be. They haven't really yet. But if Tobias Harris, if Tyrese Maxey goes off, does what you need them to do, I'm with you, John. I think the Sixers have a real shot tonight.
Pat,
if that happens.
Patty, who is the best player in the series through 4 games?
Ooh, real.
Because this is a really hard question.
Yeah,
Because you can't say Harden.
No, you can't say Harden. You can't say Embiid. I don't think you can say Jason Tatum. It might be Jalen Brown. And I don't feel confident with that.
Yeah, I don't like. I
It's
feel
been
like
a different guy every night, and there hasn't been one guy consistently through the playoffs that I've gone, oh man, like that guy's either a problem or that guy's a real benefit for the Sixers.
How would you answer it? I mean,
Probably Jalen Brown, but even that.
State the question again.
who has been the best player in the series for either team on the court through 4 games?
Jason Tatum.
Really?
No question in my mind.
I can't go there.
I can't either.
Who are you going with?
I already said.
Well, he said
it 4
Brown,
times.
like
Jalen
he's
Brown.
thinking
Welcome to the
Brown.
show.
You were wrong,
He's
but
saying
you're
Brown.
You've never seen Eddie.
And I can't put Embiid because he didn't play in one of the games.
no.
And
The
in
2
game
best
2
players.
he was not. And in game 2 he was not.
Right. No, I go Jalen Brown. I think the 3 best. Sixers may have 2 of the 3 best players. Nah, maybe not.
You go Tatum though. You said.
Yeah, well, Tatum, Embiid, and Harden and Brown are the top 4 players in this series. I think Jason Tatum's been the best player for them, for anybody in this series.
For
so
anybody in this series.
far. Sure.
Because
Who's been the best player for the Sixers? Exactly. See, it's kind of hard.
I'm totally torn on it
Sure
because
it is.
Because 2 games, it's been obviously the answer slammed down. It's been James Harden.
Yeah.
And 2 games, the worst player's been James Harden.
Yeah. And then
Which
Embiid
I still
missed the
can't
game.
understand.
He missed a game. He comes back
Yes.
for another game where they lose by 30. So obviously he's nowhere near the best player then. And then, it's 2 games at home. Okay.
All right. Well, you're the guy who, actually was on an NBA beat, has been in a million of these locker rooms during playoff series and things like that. How can we possibly have an idea about what's going to go on tonight? By the way, I already jumped on Sixers money line with a smaller wager, Sixers plus 7.5, and the over in a same game parlay on my Bet Parks app this morning. Over 213.5. So I went the over and Sixers plus 7.5. But I also did a smaller bet on the money line. Boston's inability to close out, and hearing Boston Sports Talk Radio yesterday, I had some time to kill, and I'm doing show prep and everything, and I put it on and just listened to it. Because we talked about it yesterday. Who would you rather be? The angst in Boston right now is terrible. And I don't know if the Celtics, if the Bruins losing when they had the best regular season ever is adding to it. But there's a lot of anxiety in Boston regarding Game 5, much more than I expected. I thought when I listened, they'd be like, yeah, Sixers got lucky, got away with one. They seem to be very, very confused as to why the Celtics can't close out games. And so can the Sixers keep it to a close within 5-6 minutes and steal one?
I don't consider coming back from 16 points down and making a frenetic comeback and all that stuff. I don't know if I equate it to closing out a game. I don't think the Sixers closed out a game. Sixers weren't good at closing out that game on Sunday, although they wound up winning. It sounds weird, but I don't. Yeah, I can understand why Boston's upset, and that's why I posed the question yesterday. How do you think they feel up there? Are they like,
do not feel
we're
like,
fine?
No, they don't feel that way.
Yeah. Tonight. You're exactly right, John. I don't know what to expect. Part of me says, God, I could see the Sixers getting blown out, similar to Game 2. Part of me says, Embiid's got his legs back, And although he was very tired at the end of that game the other day, but he's back, ready to go. They're going on all cylinders. PJ Tucker yelling in his ear may have lit a fire, not only under Joel Embiid, but under this whole team. The questions about Joe Mazzulla, I'm sure he's hearing them up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he's salty about it. He's a salty character, by the way.
Is he? I don't know him at all.
The way they describe him.
Is that right?
He gets, if you question him, he has that defiance attitude of, after game 2, when he made the adjustments and they won by 30 at the end of the press conference, he goes, You're not going to ask me any questions about the adjustments I made, huh? After game 1, huh? Oh, okay, that's how it is. And he walked off the dais. He's a guy that wants his praise. He cares about it. He doesn't just, I don't think Doc Rivers gives a flip what we have to say. He's told us. He'll listen, though.
Oh, he's been around too long to care.
He doesn't give a flip about whether, Kincade and Cooney and Egan are ripping him in the morning about a decision he made. But Doc Rivers is getting his coffee and saying, shut the hell up. Put on some gospel music or whatever he's sending to James Harden.
We didn't play that song at all yesterday. That may be the worst song I've ever heard in my life. Now, God bless Doc. I'm not, I just mean listening to a song. There's meanings in there, whatever. I didn't really listen to the words, but the song was horrible.
It was a bad song.
Talk about wasting 7 or 8 minutes of James Harden's life on Sunday. He should apologize about that.
All I'm imagining is him and Lil Baby, Pat, in a limo with the crew heading on over to the stadium, and they pulled that up and they all listened to it. That's how James described it. They listened to it on the drive over. And I'm just thinking,
whatever works.
You think Lil Baby's covering it?
I don't really get the fashion of James Harden, but it works for him. And he drops 40 plus. I don't really get that song, but if it works for him.
But if it worked?
Get an outfit and the song out tonight on the way to Boston, TD Bank Arena.
I wonder if Lil Baby's going to cover that song now.
I would say no.
I wouldn't think so either.
That's happening.
Hey, Invisible Fence brand has been the leader in the pet containment industry for 50 years. And with a 99% success rate, you can feel confident that your pet is protected. Visit invisiblefence.com. Coach just ditches out on us as the morning mindbender starts.
Coincidence?
Who is Barbara Millicent Roberts?
Yeah, he ditched out because this is the easiest we've ever gotten.
I have no idea.
Pat was offended that this was so easy this morning.
You don't have any idea?
No, I do not know who Barbara Millicent Roberts is.
Bob?
It's not Marilyn Monroe.
No, that's Norma Jean. She was Norma
Jean. You guys really should know this.
I'll go Barbie Benton.
Barbie Benton was hot.
Still is.
Still is?
I don't know. She's probably
really.
Like
I don't know. I mean,
you're there, Bob. It's Barbie.
Barbie.
The
Barbie doll.
Like the Barbie doll.
Oh, the Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Ah. I didn't know she had a full name.
You can go to the
What's Ken's full name?
Ken Bone.
Sure.
I haven't. I mean, of course, he runs out of here and he'll come back in 3. So sorry, dude.
So he's Barbie.
Yeah, but it's here he comes.
It's Barbie is the answer.
Yeah, that was a real tough
Isn't
one.
Isn't there the Barbie movies coming out?
Wait. Go ahead, Coach. All good answers, but
what was the question?
Who is Barbara Millicent Roberts? I did not know this. Why would I know that, Pat?
And Pat made it like, oh yeah, that's easy.
It is easy.
Why would you know that answer, Pat?
You guys both have daughters.
Yeah, she had Barbies too. But I don't remember the name of.
Well, some of us are, more knowledgeable than others.
Oh, the dolls? I guess it is. Yeah. I'm not a doll Coach. You don't have a Barbie collection, too.
Don't ask him these things because he's gonna. John. It's just gonna add to the
intrigue.
I won't even say intrigue. The psychoticness.
Yeah.
Yes. So what was that?
So the Barbie doll's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts, and she's from Willows, Wisconsin.
Really?
And her birthday is March 9th, 1959.
Here's what I don't understand about the Barbie, and I never understood it, is that there's every single, they want Barbie to be inclusive for every single race, color, creed, so every girl has a Barbie that looks like her. Why wouldn't they make them have different names? Like Barbie's friend is Trixie. Barbie's friend is Lucy. Barbie's friend is.
Why are they and Lucy aren't like the main person?
But
It's like Bob Cooney and Pat Egan. We're not John Kincaid of the John Kincaid Show.
so if you all had
But if we were all John Kincaid, if we all were named John Kincaid, it would mean more.
but if they all had if they go to like Barbie's dream house,
Yeah.
every single one of the dolls thinks it's her house.
Well, have you ever been in the same room as a John?
What do you mean as a John?
Like as another John? Have you ever been in the same room and you meet a guy and he says, "Oh, I am John."
Yeah, but they're all Barbara
You go,
Millicent.
"Hi, I'm John."
Yeah, but is it? I'm John Millicent Roberts.
Well, when you meet people, do you introduce yourself with your full name?
No, but if they all have the same name, what is it?
Got
A
'em.
crazy cloning experience?
I got you.
It's like
Oh my God! A new cooling and heating system from WM Henderson Cooling, Heating, Plumbing, and featuring Farron Electric will give you years of comfort and energy savings, backed up by an up to 10-year warranty. Book at HendersonEasyBook.com.
Every person
I
in the room.
can't take the doll talk anymore.
Every person in the room has the same name.
I felt like saying, "Shut the bleep up" to both of you.
Can't do that.
Wait,
Sixers-
one question on here though, Coach.
Yes.
What's Ken's full name then? If we're gonna have to dive deep.
You don't know it?
I don't know, Bob. What is it?
You're an
By the way, they have a Ken. So
Done with you.
they made a the Barbie movie coming out, and Ken's in his 40s. Like what the hell's this about? Ken's not in his 40s. That would be creepy as hell.
I won't be seeing it. So
Well, I don't know why you would. Well, maybe you would for your YouTube,
no, not this one.
but not that one.
Sit this one.
I don't understand. How can you cast a guy in his 40s to be Ken? That makes it creepy as hell.
Hilary Swank won an Oscar playing a dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's a different day. Devon and Bob tonight start at 6. That could win an award.
Yeah, we'll be
Sixers,
there.
Celtics.
6, take you right into the Sixers-Celtics game at 7:30 tonight. So, yeah, check us out. We'll be here in studio breaking it down.
Devon Givens will have his 3-pointer tomorrow morning with us.
Coach.
Carson. The Carson thing sort of
Yeah, it
is
does.
easy.
Bob.
Yeah, it does fit.
Yeah, task.
It does fit. Phillies have 14 games to play before they open up divisional play in that big weekend series that leads into a 7-game stretch on the road versus the Braves and the Mets. 14 games to stabilize things. You're 3 games under 500. You've got Wheeler and Nola going. We'll talk more about it later, but they start a 2-game set tonight that closes out tomorrow afternoon. That's one that very, very important, I think, that they get some sort of momentum going before you head into that week series. You get a 4-game weekend series with the Braves, and then you get a 3-game series at the Mets. Let's hope that they can get something rolling here.
Yeah, they kind of have to. You want to see a couple of good outings tonight. And as I said yesterday, 4 of your next 6 games, you have Wheeler and Nola on the mound because you have another off day on Thursday. So I got to see some good outings from your 1 and 2. Suarez slated to come back, which
This
is good.
weekend, yes.
Yeah, I like a lot the lineup change. So maybe that gives you some rejuvenation also. Bryce Harper's settled in now. You got a week under your belt. Yeah, it's go. It's go. We've said this before, but this is go time.
It's
Here
go
you go.
time. Get it rolling.
Yeah, I got to see it.
All right, coming up, Bob has something in Cooney's corner that the final 3 games can sort of be defined by this in the Sixers series. Find out what this is next.
on Alexa at 975thefanatic.com, the Fanatic app, and now on Odyssey. Now, back to the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, Bet Parks is the official winning partner of your Philadelphia 76ers. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania or Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, Pat, this would be what you would call a banger. You're not a banger for you? This wouldn't be a banger?
No.
It's a great one.
I can't go banger on a soft song like that.
See, I think it's
Not banger.
not a banger. What would be?
I don't know. I don't think I like that song.
You don't like that
I
one?
don't think I know that song either.
Wow. It is a banger.
I think it is.
It's an 80s banger.
It's an 80s hit.
It's the Thompson Twins,
Yeah,
Lies.
the Thompson
Exactly.
twins. Yes. Bob was into Born in the USA at that time. That was
There was a lot going on then. You had a lot of Phil Collins going on.
love Phil Collins.
U2. There was 80s was great music time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, of course, Michael
Every decade has
Jackson,
great
everything.
music.
I don't know. The 80s, I think, bangs it all. You go into any store, any place that's playing music overhead, Pat, pretty much it's always 80s music.
Yeah, and then followed by the 90s.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
You don't go out often, so you can't.
I mean, I think you're a little biased because your heyday was the 80s.
I'm not biased. I just noticed
No,
it. I'm why
I
is
think
everything...
most stores, if you're hearing music, you're not hearing 90s, you're hearing 80s.
Well,
and it's not because of
I mean,
people.
I'm not going to sit here with two guys who their heyday was in the 80s. I'm not
well, you can feel free to leave if you'd like to leave.
Pat, I don't think I've
insult you
reached
guys.
my heydays yet.
Yeah, okay. First of
I'm
all, pop,
still looking.
You have, okay? Hate to break it to you. Second, your age group is the target demo for purchasing stuff, so they're going to cater to you guys. Next thing you know, in a couple of years, you're going to be going, man, all these places I'm going, they're serving warm milk.
Well, 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, yes. Oh, I'm going to be in Target, and they're going to be playing 9 Inch Nails.
We're going to really act like Target.
They're going to be playing Kurt Cobain.
No, they'll play like I Saw the Sign by Ace of Base. That's the 90s. Jackass.
I saw the
horrible
sign.
song. Horrible song. So bad.
I can't imagine.
Thank you for listening.
Well, no, I bet you I could hear I saw the sign in like you walk into the local Walmart, they've got I saw the sign going. You know, you might do that.
I regret bringing it up because I got a feeling that Coach is going to rush to his office to put that in the system.
Or the Chess King. You go into Chess King to get a new braided belt, Bob. And maybe you do that. Bob, Pat's never been in it.
I don't wear belts.
You never went into Chess King ever?
I have no idea
Chess
what you're
King?
talking
I've
about.
never heard of Chess King.
You never ever heard of Chess King, Coach?
Never.
Did you ever hear of Chess King?
I don't know what that is.
It was a store in the mall.
Sex store?
It was a store in like every mall. It was one of those clothing stores when we were young. That was Chess King was one of those.
Like whips and chains?
No.
Some assless chaps?
Aren't all chaps assless?
I said what I said.
Yeah. So you just emphasized.
We've had a weird show so
It is
far.
really weird.
Was that the store where they sold the candy with the paper on it that you can eat?
No. Chess King was a clothing store.
They sold that candy in there, didn't they?
No, it was clothing.
The paper was on it, and you just eat it because the paper was made of like a sugary.
No, I remember those. You mean the dots?
No.
Which is the worst candy like ever?
Bob, do you have another read?
I swear, I just looked through my papers to see if I had one. I wish I could break
Can you
this
just do
up.
the other
Anybody
one
wants
again?
to sponsor, please call in right now, and I'll just read it.
I'm sure a lot of places after listening to that segment want to sponsor.
Yeah, right?
Bob can break things up, though, because he says in the final 3 games of this series, if there are 3, it comes down to this.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
Yeah, I think it comes down for the Sixers to the secondary players. It really does. As much
Really?
as you need Harden and Embiid, I think you're going to get them. I don't think James Harden is going to have another games 2 and 3 in him. I don't think he either has a game 1 or 4 in him either, but I think there's somewhere in between. I think you're good for a 20 and 10, 25 and 10 from Harden. I think I'll jot that down. Embiid will give you good Embiid numbers, and it might even get better going forward than maybe anything he's done so far. Him going for 30 every night for me as expected. Yeah, to me it comes down to, and that's going to counteract what Brown and Tatum give you. Okay, so boom, just check those guys off. So now it comes down to Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. I need a little more, like I said to you. I love P.J. Tucker. I know all the toughness, all that stuff. But I do need a little more stats from him. And then I need something from a bench guy. It was funny. I was listening to Rich Hoffman yesterday on the best show ever. And he was saying how much they're really getting something from George Niang. Rich Hoffman has a great basketball mind, and I appreciate it. And I don't look at it and say, "Oh, you're an idiot. What do you say?" No, I look at myself and say, "Wow, am I missing something?" I don't think I am. I watched. I skimmed through the game yesterday.
So you went back and watched that again?
Yeah, I watched when he was in the game, and I watched him defensively. It's a joke. It's just a joke when he's in there defensively. But I understand what Rich was saying, and he's right. He does give them some spark offensively, which they do need. I just think I would like for Doc Rivers to read it a little bit better, saying, okay, he gave us the spark and get him out of there before he gets torched defensively. But Melton, you need something from offensively. I need a couple. When P.J. Tucker has wide open threes and Boston has decided to leave him wide open, he's got to hit him. He's got to hit those corner threes. And when he's open, take them. And when you take them, make them. It just has to happen. So, yeah, I'm looking more towards the secondary players tonight. Embiid and Harden are going to get theirs, I believe. I really need some stuff. And I'm talking probably, I need 40 to 45 points between Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey tonight.
40 to 45?
40 to 45. I left you speechless. How do you like that, Pat?
You could get it. I'm going to say that I'd bet the under.
Well, if they do get the under, I'm not real confident about tonight. You can't rely on 76 points from Harden and Embiid. That's just ridiculous. They have to take some of the load, especially off of Harden. They have to take some of the load off of Harden tonight. Boston's going to close out a little bit quicker. Harden probably won't have the wide open looks he have. If he's beating guys off the dribble, that's such a good thing for the Sixers and something you need to look out for early. But when he's dribble driving, he's got to be able to kick out two guys that are going to make shots, and that's Maxey, and that's P.J. Tucker, and that's Tobias Harris to me, and DeAnthony Melton when he's in the game. So, yeah, to me, the secondary players, and it was funny, I was thinking of it last night, and, obviously put it in the show sheet today. And then I watched the first half of the Lakers game, fell asleep, then watched the last quarter of the Lakers game, and you have Lonnie Walker going off for the Lakers. And secondary player that you're not really relying on, gets you 15 fourth quarter points. And it just reaffirmed to me, yeah, that's what you have to have. The Sixers had it in game one with DeAnthony Melton. They wouldn't have won that game if he doesn't go crazy in the first half. I just think those secondary players are really important for the Sixers tonight and for the rest of the series.
It's weird because I watched a little bit of the game back on the DVR yesterday, and all I could think of is this John Chaney coaching the Sixers? I don't know if this short bench against the Boston Celtics is the best thing in the world.
Well, Boston has a short bench also. So it's kind of like a matchup, 7-on-7, 8-on-8, whatever it may be.
Boston a little younger, though.
Yeah.
They've sort of got a younger energy, a younger vibe to them. That it just seems to me like I always wonder. It's one of the things that I used to always wonder about Coach Chaney. Too small, he counted on too few players, and then sometimes they'd end up running in mud. And these were one games where he would have, a day off or an NCAA tournament type of situation. For the Sixers, this is a grind now. This is every other night.
Yeah, it is. And you're coming off of a night, besides P.J. Tucker, your four starters all played over 45 minutes. That's tough.
B-Ball Paul, he has to trust B-Ball Paul more tonight because Joel Embiid cannot be running in mud in the fourth quarter.
No,
and the reason he was is because you broke his wheels off.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there hasn't been anything, and maybe you guys disagree. I'll ask you as much as I'll say it. There hasn't really been anything to me when B-Ball Paul is out there that makes me say, all right, he's got to get out.
No.
I think defensively he's been okay. He's rebounded well. As I said to you the other day on the high pick and roll, Harden is trusting him a little bit more to throw him a pass. Doesn't do it often, maybe 1 out of 5 times. But when he does, Reed usually catches the ball. which sounds silly, but that's a big part of it. Catches the ball, regroups, and then usually he scores. So I wouldn't mind getting a 12 to 15-minute run out of him tonight to keep Embiid in the 30 to 35 area.
Yeah. I think you need to do it because Pat the other day was embarrassing down the stretch for Joel, who still had a great game.
He did. He just, I feel like, fatigue and maybe fatigue combined with lost confidence late in the game because he was going up against Al Horford.
Stupid-ass Al Horford.
Who's had his number in the past, but this season and recently, Joel's kind of gotten the better of him. But, I mean, down the stretch, it was like anytime Joel drove the lane, he was getting blocked or tied up. So, I feel like he was more fatigued than anything, but hopefully he's kind of got his legs under him now and used to being back in the swing of things, and we won't see that. He's gotten better as each game's gone on since he's returned, so. If I'm seeing
Al Horford make an impact tonight, it's going to make me vomit. It's
an enemy of the state.
Yeah, point. and it's so funny is because I think that so many times I've seen Al Horford come up very small so many times in his career, and I'm just like the Sixers just for whatever reason bring it out in him, and I don't know what it is.
I think Boston kind of brings it out in him too. It's kind of the perfect fit for him. When the Sixers got him here, I liked it. I envisioned a high-low game, a wing inside game with he and Joel Embiid, different things they could do. I think he was totally misused here. I thought he could have fit.
So you think that
I'm getting all choked up about Al Horford.
I was with you. It was.
I just don't think Brett Brown really figured it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he figured out how to use the two of them together at all. Al Horford's a good passer, good outside shooter, a tough inside player. He's everything that you want to complement a Joel Embiid, and they just didn't figure it out here.
Yeah, which is amazing because every coach that's ever had Al Horford's figured it out except one.
Yeah,
I'm not happy.
He's a mopey. I thought he was mopey cat here too.
I didn't think that at all.
Al?
No,
he looked at like to me.
But also, I mean, he goes from signing a massive contract to being put on the bench.
Okay.
And then kind of taken off the bench. Like Bob's right. Brett had no idea what the hell he was doing when it came to Al Horford. He just did not know how to use him. I like the move too, Bob, when it happened. But considering the way that it went, and then the fact that he winds up back in Boston hitting dagger threes, yeah, that guy can kick rocks.
Hey, if you're injured in an accident, check out our friends at the law offices of Glenn S. Barry. From big to small, call 855-BARRY LAW for the personal attention you deserve. You're going to pay nothing unless they recover money for you. So they'll take great care of you, the law offices of Glenn S. Barry. We haven't even taken a peek at the other NBA playoff series, which I sort of think is a good thing because you're not looking ahead. You're not getting two Billy Big Balls about what's going on with the Sixers going on right now. But as we look at the other playoff series, I can't believe it. I said to you, Bob, you stayed up for it. I just watched the short little 4-minute synopsis of the game here. The Lakers being one win away from the conference finals. You said to me this morning, don't ever underestimate LeBron James. And I love LeBron James' game. I can't believe it. And I would love for the Sixers to have a chance to see that as the only thing standing between them and an NBA title. Because then I'd start picking my parade route seat.
Well, it's funny because, I'd be careful on that. But it is funny that Embiid, if he goes up against Anthony Davis, owns him. Have seen it up close and personal.
One of the reasons why I feel that way.
Yeah. If he goes up against Joker, owns him.
Yep.
Absolutely owns him. So you do have, and I was texting, it's funny, I was texting with an NBA executive last night, and we were going back and forth about different things, the Tatum call again and all of that stuff. But I brought it back to the Sixers-Celtics series, and his first response was, whoever wins this series is the NBA champion.
I really believe it.
Yeah, now, I think, I might have started it by, I was watching the Knicks Heat game, and I said, man, these two teams, I know the Sixers should be favored, the Celtics will be favored, but there's a toughness about those two teams. I don't take that series for granted either. I can't just look past it and say whoever wins this series is NBA champion, although part of me does believe it.
The Heat's up 3-1. I mean...
Yeah, it'll probably be the Heat.
If the Sixers can't beat the Heat 4 out of 7, then that's That's an abject failure.
We've been saying that for years.
No, but I mean this year. I mean that would be an abject.
Yeah, they
failure.
don't have Tyler Hero. Victor Oladipo is also out.
Right. I mean, come on.
They don't have.
How are they beating the Knicks so easily?
Eric Spoelstra is just a really good
coach.
damn coach.
I think it's that combined with the fact that this is the first time the Knicks have been in the playoffs.
You mean won a series?
I mean, like meaningful playoff run in what, 30 years? 20 years?
No.
20, 30?
Jeff Van Gundy, is that 20 years ago?
I don't know.
Jeff Van Gundy in the conference finals?
Whatever it is, I mean, the players
That's
that are
a
on
while.
the team haven't been on. I mean, they weren't in the league.
No, absolutely. They were barely born.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure of kind of winning in New York might be just, I don't want to say getting to them, but there are a lot of these guys, I feel like, for the Knicks are getting used to playoff basketball for the first time. This is their first taste of it. So
It got to the Rangers that way.
yeah.
So I mean, and you've seen it. It got to the Bruins. The Bruins were the favorite team, and things like this. Sometimes you see it in a series. You see teams feel the pressure, and sometimes the market can be the pressure. And I wonder how much we add to that.
It could be that with the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, Randall, they're both dealing with ankles. Yeah, they're both dealing with stuff. Brunson's tough, man. He had 32 again last night. He's good. I don't think the Knicks, Pat, you make a good point. Maybe they weren't ready for this, but not ready for it and overachieving. Are they cousins? Like, I think the Knicks have overachieved. So you get here and you start losing, and then you say, well, they're not ready for it. A lot of teams that overachieve, they're probably not ready for it because they're not good enough, because they've already overachieved to get where they are. So I just do think, though, Miami is, man, they are. Kyle Lowry comes off the bench last night and he's getting offensive rebounds.
Well, he's
almost to me like he belongs on the Celtics. Because they get all these freaking annoying players that you just, the punch-the-face players and guys that come up with loose balls and offensive rebounds. Now, here's 5'11", 300-pound Kyle Lowry grabbing offensive rebounds last night on loose balls, like balls hitting the floor, and he's going and getting them. He's hitting threes out of nowhere. All these things. He's that screwdriver in your side that you just keep twisting. And, man, I hate that. I hate that.
Pat may have a new favorite Sixer. And it's not Joel Embiid. We'll talk about it next. Welcome aboard, John Kincaid Show. It's game day. Game 5 tonight. Devon and Bob get you ready for the game. Right after the best show ever today at 6 here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Thanks for hanging out with us on game day. Sixers Celtics tonight. You hear it on one station, 97.5 The Fanatic. In fact, Tom McGinnis will join us later on today.
Yeah, he will.
Is that before he goes to a Boston courtroom and watches the proceedings?
No, today Tom will go to shoot around, which will be at the arena. And then after that, it'll probably be in the 11:30-ish area.
A little early lunch at a Irish pub?
Could be an early lunch. Tom is very much a preparer. So who knows what he'll do today? It'll be interesting to find out.
We'll find out and see what's up with him a little bit later on. Tommy Green joins us later on in the 9 o'clock hour also. So we'll have that. 5 questions with Kincaid coming up at the bottom of the next hour. Some interesting questions for every one of our panelists today, including Haley and Connor, who get into the mix too. So, hey, Staples stores provide innovative products and services that help small businesses, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. You can explore more at your local Staples store. In Pat's point of view, he absolutely might be falling in love with another Sixer.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Hi, guys.
There's room in your heart, right, Pat?
Yeah, a little
For
bit.
more than just Joel Love?
Yeah, there's plenty of room. I don't think Dwayne Dedman's making the cut.
There you go.
Don't think Furkan will be there either, but I heard the post-game presser after it wasn't really a post-game interview after Game 4 with Tom McGinnis and P.J. Tucker. Now, listen to P.J. Tucker's answer from Tom McGinnis when he was posed the question of, his thoughts on the game and whatnot.
PJ, thank you for bearing with me. Just if you could, walk me through your emotions right now.
We're making this a lot harder than it needs to be. Should have been an easy win tonight. Yeah, multiple chances to go up big, mental mistakes, not doing things that we need to do to win consistently every night. We got to get so much better if we want to continue to win. We got to.
All right, so a couple things there. When you really break it down, that's a guy that played well, used to kind of running around for 35 minutes. Some people call him King Cardio, because the stat line will be like 35 minutes played and nothing in the stat sheet. He was very productive. He gets an N1 that ends up tying the game in a critical point. He ends up talking up Joel Embiid. The team ends up winning on dramatic fashion, and he sounds miserable. I mean, he sounds pissed off.
He does sound pissed.
Pissed off that's the way that they played. I love that attitude, because we as fans can sit there and get pumped up about that kind of game. But the fact that it is not well thought of in that locker room because of guys like P.J. Tucker, because P.J. Tucker walked into the locker room, and if anybody was celebrating, he was like, yo, zip it. Like, this ain't happening. We're not celebrating that crap. We should have hammered that team. That's the reason why he's getting paid. That's the whole, that interview right there shows you the mentality of this team now with the leadership of a P.J. Tucker. And I couldn't love it anymore. It was such a breath of fresh air, because I expected the chalk answer of, yeah, it's great to get out here and James is playing great and it's a good team win and we can't wait for the opportunity to get back. No. He seemed legitimately annoyed that it got to that point. And I was relieved, because it tells me about this mindset heading into a Game 5. That this team truly is different. We've heard Jamie talk about it and I've talked about it. And a lot of people pointed out, like, this team's different roster. But that right there, that attitude is, I think, why I have hope tonight. Because he's not going to sit there and go, guys, we got it. Like, series of tie, but no, like, he's going to get in their ass and be like, this is ridiculous. We never should have been in that spot, and we were. So I praise to P.J. Tucker.
Yeah, he's doing what was asked of him. He is what Joel Embiid asked for after the playoffs last year. He has played the role that Doc Rivers has laid out for him. No question about it. So now it has to come about. It almost has to come about.
Yes.
You put all your eggs in the basket. Joel Embiid is who he is, MVP of the league, but best player in the league. Last year, they came up short again in the second round. They stated what they needed. He did. Doc Rivers did. Daryl Morey went out and got it.
Got the exact guy they talked about.
So, okay, no more excuses. Here you go. And you're right, Pat. Tonight might be the night that this organization turns around, and P.J. Tucker could be a big part of it.
I can tell you, Pat, that, and I said it yesterday, I believe that little pep talk in Joel Embiid's ear, it could end up being one of those moments that we just talk about in Philadelphia history. That we look back on and say, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I loved his entire attitude in Game 4, and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the fact that he hits a key N1, this is a guy that isn't really used to scoring points, but he had some key three-pointers in that game, hits the critical N1, doesn't sit there and celebrate, doesn't flex. He makes a beeline to the best player on the floor and yells at him, trying to remind him who he is, and basically yelling at him of, why am I in that situation? I shouldn't be in that situation. You should be the one hitting this shot. I love the leadership that they've brought in from P.J. Tucker, and I think that for everybody out there that wondered why they were getting a 97-year-old in basketball years, P.J. Tucker, I think you're kind of seeing why this series and this playoff run, but especially with that clip, I don't know if I'd have the same faith in tonight had I not heard his attitude right after they won.
Yeah,
this wasn't a guy that got to have an adrenaline dump after the game and go to the podium and address the media. This was, you can hear the song in the background, you can hear the fans. This is right after the horn sounded.
Sure.
And that's his mindset is, man, we never should have been here.
Yeah.
Love that.
And under 3 minutes to go, they're down 112-109. And it's kind of like, oh, where's this going? Harden misses a three. And he goes and fights for the offensive rebound. Doesn't even get credit for the rebound. What happens was he fought for it. Boston knocks it out of bounds. Sixers regain possession. And Embiid hits like a 10, 15-footer. Makes it, and it's just another possession, another chance to close a gap. And that's something that doesn't show up in the scoreboard. It's not an offensive rebound for him. It's just a team rebound. And he owned that overtime in ways that didn't show up on the scoreboard also.
Yeah, and I got to give credit to Tobias Harris. I kind of crapped on him yesterday, but in that same possession, Tobias really fought for a rebound as well, was able to get it.
Yeah.
Led to the missed shot.
Could have been a foul.
PJ fought for. Could have been a foul. I thought it was surprised it wasn't. But yeah, I agree. I think he's showing up in spots that you don't necessarily see. But I thought yesterday he probably had arguably his best game of this series in terms of stat performance. Thought he was really good, and he just wasn't happy at all. And that's the mindset of a PJ. I'm happy when I run around for 35 minutes. I'm king cardio, and I get nothing in the stat sheet as long as we win. But if I'm getting a decent performance from myself, and we have to go to overtime and win, that ain't good enough.
King cardio, is that just something that came about, or
I like that?
I like that.
I've seen a lot of people rip the fact that he's just out there for a run, because of the fact that a normal PJ Tucker stat line throughout the season was
that's absurd.
35 minutes and maybe three rebounds, no points. He had that stretch in November, December when he had 5 straight games without taking a shot and getting points.
I don't believe PJ Tucker. I didn't see this PJ Tucker in the regular season.
Well, this PJ Tucker was waiting in the wings.
Yes, this PJ Tucker was lying there like a virus, just waiting to infect the Celtics.
Just waiting.
There we go. Good job, Pat.
Like a puma. Hiding in a tree.
Matt Puma? Yes.
No, not
very silent.
Not the great Matt Puma.
Very silent.
I'm talking about
worked here at the
exactly.
Talking about the jungle cat.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the all-new BetParks app. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Think of it this way. When we look back on this series, does the way that the Sixers got a couple of lucky breaks in Game 4, and I do believe they were lucky breaks, not losing, when you don't lose on wide open last-second shots in regulation and overtime, Does it cause you to think that we may look back on that and say, hey, this was their year? In previous years, those moments didn't happen, or the opposition hits the shot, beats them, puts them down. Sort of like the Keanu Neal knee deflection before halftime in the Eagles-Atlanta game during the Super Bowl run. The Minneapolis Miracle the day after that caused the Vikings to come to town instead of the Saints. Sometimes when you're winning a championship, things break along the way in your favor. I wonder if we're going to look back on that one, because watching the last sequence I watched the last 5 minutes of regulation and then overtime yesterday in its entirety. And I swear to you, those two shots being missed, that was sort of magical, Bob. When you look back on it, one of those two, and one could have, if it had been a half second earlier, if it had left his fingers. It's one of those, they really did get a lucky break that they won that game.
Yeah, they did. It's a good point you make, and I've been trying to think of it back and forth. Teams that win championships get some luck.
Absolutely.
Along the way, somehow, some way, they get some luck. The Sixers, I don't think they've been good enough that they had to rely on luck in the playoffs in years past. Luck wasn't carrying them anywhere just because they weren't performing well enough for luck to carry them a game or two.
Bad luck affected them, right? Like with Doc Rivers leaving Joel Embiid in a game that was well in hand in Game 6 so he could do his little airplane routine and then get elbowed in the face. I mean, like, sometimes bad luck affected them.
Yeah, maybe.
And hurt them.
That could be. But I still don't have a feel for this series. And I think it's why I was on the phone so much yesterday. My wife came outside and she's like, my God, how many people are you going to talk to? And I realized to myself, I just can't get a feel, and I'm trying to get it through other people. Because, we're always learning, always asking people questions, always want to figure out, oh, yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. There isn't a whole lot out there that all of us haven't thought of with this series, but there's nothing that I can grasp. Somebody on the YouTube page earlier today said it well, and I apologize for not remembering who it was. They said, I could see them winning tonight by 2 or losing by 30, but not much in between.
Really?
I can't see, and I said this to somebody yesterday, I can't see the Sixers. Oh, I said it on air yesterday. I can't see the Sixers winning a blowout in this series. I don't see a game that they're going to.
Game they blow them out. No,
I don't. Could I see the Celtics blowing them out tonight? Can't you just close your eyes and see that obnoxious Celtics crowd going nuts and Horford hitting threes and all the things that we absolutely despise about them?
Yes,
I could see that.
Sure, I could.
I could see the Sixers winning a real close game. Also, I just don't have a feel for this yet. Tonight will give it to me. I really do believe tonight. I don't want to say whoever wins tonight is going to win the series, but I think I will have a better feel for this series tonight after the game.
Well, if you don't have a feel for the series, isn't that a statement on both teams?
Or it might be a statement on me that I'm just a freaking idiot.
No. I mean, it's.
I think that's.
We
it.
already that statement's been
apropos,
made.
Pat?
Let's not just brush off that.
That statement's been made all along. Yes.
You have 2 games from Harden where you don't know who he is. You have 2 games from Harden where you're shocked as hell he still has that. You see Jason Tatum just absolutely go off in that game 4 and then pass up 2 chances to win a game at the end of regulation and overtime. You see Al Horford blocking Joel Embiid's shot 2, 3, 4, 5 times late in the game and kind of owning him defensively. There's so many oddities to this series. I don't have a handle on it at all. If I was a betting man and I had to say, are the Sixers going to win tonight? 7.5-point underdog kind of tells me no. But there's something to this team that won't. And Pat hit on it perfectly when he brought up PJ Tucker. Well, maybe that's the deciding factor of the Sixers getting over this round 2 hump.
They've been underdogs in every game of the series, for one thing.
Yeah.
They were 10.5-point underdogs in both of the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And that included with Embiid.
Yeah.
It shifted.
They didn't cover with Embiid. They covered without him and won the game.
No, they won the game outright. Exactly. So I mean, it's weird though, is that it really is a statement though to me when and that's why I'm glad we don't do the show before the show, because when I hear you say that and I hear you articulate that point of view, in my mind I say it tells me as much about we don't know about the Celtics as we don't know about the Sixers.
Yeah,
that the fact that because if we knew about the Celtics right now, the Celtics are sitting there in the catbird seat. They have 2 out of 3 at home. They're the better team. They're supposed to win. They're heavy favorites, and they've been favored in every game, and we still are like, we don't have a read on this series. I think that's as big an indictment on them as it is on us.
I
really do. That they haven't established their dominance.
No, they haven't.
That they're supposed to.
You've got Jason Tatum going 0 for seemingly everything in the first half of the last game, and then kind of catching on in game 2. But I think it's very telling that both the best players on each team haven't really got it going.
Yes,
I can't talk.
That's okay.
Yeah, in the series. And I thought it was also very telling of, I forget which one of you guys asked it, but who's the best player in this? I think it was John. Who's the best player in the series? We didn't really have an answer. Normally you'd go to a Jason Tatum. Normally you'd go to a Joel Embiid. But it's like you can make a case for all these guys because no one's taken over the series yet and had a really good stretch of a bunch of games where you go, man, like they were a problem. And that's pretty telling.
Yeah, Tatum had only 7 points in game 2. But still leads the Celtics in scoring in this series. I think when they're looking for a basket, when they need something, he is their go-to guy. Embiid, of course, a game and a half wasn't Joel Embiid. Didn't play one game. The 20-plus minutes he played in game 2 was kind of a feel-out session and a blowout. Harden, as we said, has had the 2 bad games. It's just a dogfight of a series.
Hey, Jeff in D.C. joins us. Jeff, good morning. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Gentlemen, what's going on? How are we doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Hey, so this is a rare thing for me, but I'm actually going to disagree with Bob here because Bob is like always right. So like Bob is the voice of reason on this.
That's not right, Jeff.
But so I think we do know what this series is. The Celtics are to me. The Celtics are clearly the better team. The Sixers, as has been said, need a little bit of luck here to win. But I think they are capable of it because the Sixers are, and Bob, you said it a couple days ago, the Sixers are the second best team in this series, but it's not that big of a difference. You know, the Celtics are a great basketball team. They're probably the best team in the NBA right now. But the Sixers are the second best team in the NBA. And I'll go down swinging saying that. And so I think tonight's game almost, and this is going to sound weird, but tonight's game almost doesn't matter. Because the Sixers are winning game 6. We just got to win one in Boston, either tonight or game 7. That's all. That's what it comes down to. And we do need breaks. And John is right. God, I said John is right and Bob is wrong in the same call. I can't believe it.
It is. It's amazing.
It's crazy. But you're right, John. This is going to come down to the Sixers are going to need a break. And we are going to go back and talk about that P.J. Tucker thing. Just like we talk about the Keanu O'Neal thing, just like we talk about the Minneapolis Miracle thing. When the Sixers win the title this year, that's going to be part of the conversation. Absolutely, no question in my mind.
Some of the things you said, Jeff, you have definitives in there. The Sixers are going to win game 6. Yeah. I don't know. They got crunched by the Celtics by 30+. They had a chance to go up 2-1 at home, and they blew that game. I don't have that supreme confidence. That's why I can't feel. I hear what you're saying. And they could win tonight and win game 6. The Sixers could. Boston could blow out the Sixers tonight and win game 6. That wouldn't surprise me either. That's why I say I just don't have a feel right now.
But you don't know basketball.
The good point.
That all makes sense, Bob. I really think the Sixers get blown out tonight. I really do. I think the Celtics win by.
Wow, Jeff, you're bringing me down this morning.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, John, because we're going to win game 6 and we're going to go to game 7. And when you get to a game 7. Anything can happen.
Okay.
Man, I wish I had your confidence,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Jeff. Good to hear from you.
Jeff says they get blown out in game 5 and they're going to be able to come back in game 6 and win.
Do you think the way that game 5 goes tonight, barring a major injury, Sixers lose a tight one, Sixers lose by 14. Does it in any way affect your idea of how game 6 will go? Or do you think each of them their own individual entities in a time capsule?
Both. If that makes sense,
Okay.
Wouldn't you rather have the confidence of knowing you just beat a team pretty soundly going into a clinching game 6? If you're the team that wins that game, yes, I'd love to have that confidence on my side. If you're the losing team on that, you say, all right, it's only 3-2. The series is exactly what it probably should be after 5 games. And no, that doesn't matter at all. I'd rather be the team that had the confidence of winning. I'm not even talking about being up 3-2. I'd rather be the team that's coming off of a good win than the team that's saying, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. I've heard a lot of people say that. And, Pat, I think you started this yesterday, that Game 5, it really doesn't matter. Sixers are coming back here. It's all going to come down to a Game 7. I kind of started thinking about that yesterday, maybe leaning towards it. But I can't say that a Game 5 in a 2-2 series is a luxury game, a game that doesn't matter. I just can't.
That was all Connor.
I think there's going to be. I do believe there's going to be a Game 7. I'm convinced that we will see the drama of a 3:30 Game 7 on Sunday afternoon. So make Mother's Day plans accordingly. Make sure you haven't screwed Mom over with like a.
Oh, isn't that what Mother's Day is about?
Something.
Screwing Mom over?
Don't do that. Take care of Mom.
Yeah, well, I already made the plans.
What are we talking about?
I know, right? I said yesterday a breakfast with the family,
good.
And then I will cook a nice dinner. And Donna said, well, the game's at 3:30. I don't want you cooking during the game. I said, there's a TV right there. I'm okay. I can cook and watch at the same time.
Wow, look at you, Chef Tell.
I'm
Let
all
him
right.
cook, Donna.
Yeah.
Let the man cook.
Let him cook.
I think I'm going to do some filet mignon. Oscar,
wow.
With a little hollandaise sauce.
How about
and some asparagus?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely,
Gotta have the asparagus,
right?
Uh-huh. Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah, take care of people. That's what I do.
I'm already tired of something in the local Philadelphia fan base and media regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll share it with you next. Plus 5 questions with Kincaid at the bottom of the hour, and you're going to be able to play along with all of the scenarios. John Kincaid Show here on 97.
On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Sixers and the Celtics, Game 5 tonight. Devon and Bob have the pregame starting at 6 o'clock here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Okay, how did the murderers escape? Did you see the story on the news, Bob? I just saw that they're on the
back
loose.
door.
Like, I mean,
What murder? The from the Northeast Philly place?
Yes.
They cut a hole in a fence, and they got out through there. And then when they checked on them at 11 o'clock, they weren't there. They checked at 3 a.m., they weren't there. They checked at 7 a.m., they weren't there. And then somebody decided to say, hey, I think some guys are missing here.
I left a note that said, be back in 5 minutes.
Something done gone wrong, Pat.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, we had this story before. The one day I was reading you the story where the guys broke out of jail and then they got caught at the IHOP.
Yeah.
They went to the IHOP.
Well, and that's understandable, John, because they figured that if they went to the International House of Pancakes, then they would be under the international jurisdiction.
So it'd be international immunity.
Yeah, so they would have immunity because...
So it'd be sanctuary, basically.
They basically figured that the United States wouldn't have control in an IHOP because it's like international waters.
Well,
they messed up because it's just a name. It's not like... that doesn't actually happen.
So these two fine gentlemen are now on the loose, and I'm wondering
they'll be caught soon.
What do you say that now, Pat? You say that like with total confidence.
Yeah, they always
seriously.
get caught.
This is like a cartoon town. The way we really.
Yeah.
But this is like
John. Give me one from the last 10 years that got away.
No, Pat, what we have is right now we've got a problem where we've got guys getting incarcerated 3 times in like 4-month periods, and they keep letting them out. Now we're letting them escape.
They seem like they're rehabilitated, so you got to let them out.
Yeah.
And maybe they are because they escape. They want out. They go, no, I was wrongly accused. I want out.
Where would you, Pat? You break out of jail. You're a murderer. You break out of jail. Where are you going? What are you doing when you get out of jail? You have no money on you.
I mean, probably a strip club. I mean, if I've been in jail for a little bit, it's been a minute, John. And
so you're
I know
thinking
I'm getting caught. I know.
Yeah, but you have no money.
Soon. I could figure out a way. Yeah, I could figure out a way to get in the door.
I guess if you're a murderer, you could always
if I go to Cincinnati, I drop my name before 11, and I'm in for free. So boom,
that works.
I just get to watch. But it's been a strip club's really the perfect place to go. It's darkly lit. There's
Aren't you in prison clothes though?
Oh, you can just go to a Goodwill, and for $4 you can get outfitted and look like James Harden.
Yeah, but you're walking in prison clothes. To the Goodwill. You walk in, say an inmate number 7822.
That's why you have to plan ahead for these things. You gotta have somebody on the outside ready to stash an outfit.
Well, I mean, Coach, where are you going?
I got places.
Where would you go? What would be the first thing you do?
He doesn't want to give it away.
Bob's call. We know Bob's calling Rock or Glenn. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a whole
look. There's
Rock's picking him up in the bread truck.
There's one person at this radio station that if I were in jail and I got out, that I would call to help me hide somewhere.
I know where it would be.
And you know who it is?
Dylan McKinnon.
That is not correct. His name is Anthony Gargano.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely would know where to hide me.
Absolutely, Cuz would be the person that I would. Cuz would know what to do.
Cuz would go down to the docks, talk to Skinny Joey.
And then there you go. Well, don't want to use Skinny Joey. Don't want to use Skinny Joey in this town.
That's a good point.
Let's not do that.
My bad, everybody.
Hey, train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. GoCSB.com. That's GoCSB.com. Joe in the little town of Bethlehem joins us. Joe, good morning. You're on The Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you fellas doing this
Good,
morning?
man.
Hey, Joe.
I just wanted to bring up something about how significant this series and game is for us. Of course, obviously, Sixers-Celtics rivalry, bad blood since forever. But one thing that I think gets overlooked a lot is that the Celtics are the reason why we are here in the first place. We couldn't get past them, which started the process. We couldn't beat them with Joel Embiid, with, for some reason, ancient Al Horford just comes back to life every time that he's in that Celtics green uniform, playing like he's in the prime of his career again. I think that this Game 5 tonight could be so significant for each franchise to where they've kind of been that dark cloud hanging over us forever now. And if we can just cross that hump, it would be so significant just for tonight and the future of our direction for the team.
Okay, I mean,
I don't dispute that at all, Joe. I kind of agree with you. There's so many more. There's so much more to tonight's Game 5 than just tonight's Game 5, right, Joe?
Absolutely. And before, the only thing that upset me before was when you were saying you could close your eyes and see a potential Celtics blowout tonight. I just don't see that happening at all, especially with the way that P.J. Tucker was fired up and getting into Embiid's face on Game 4. I don't think that we let that happen. I think that there's no way. I think that we need that one big game from one of our role players tonight. We need a big Maxey 25-plus point game or even a 20-point game from Tobias. To where, Harden, hot and cold, Joel Embiid's going to be Joel Embiid, but we just need one more player to step up and actually assert themselves in this series.
There you go, Joe. It sounds.
Yeah, I'll even go 2. I need Maxey and Tobias Harris to. I'm not going to put a number on it, I don't think, but maybe 45 is what I need for the two of them to combine for. I need something out of them.
You said 45 earlier, and I said I can't get to that number.
Yeah,
But how about this? I would guarantee a Sixers victory if you give me that number.
It would go a long way.
I guarantee it.
It would go a long way, yeah.
You tell me 45 from the two of them. I'm getting 30 from Embiid. I'm getting 20 from Harden.
Yes.
I'm winning. No, I'm winning that game.
Okay.
That game's a winner. That's gonna go in my favor. And I'd be really, really happy with that. As long as PJ hits a couple and Niang hits a couple, and that's
gives
man.
Up a couple.
He's going to give up a couple too. So it was funny is because Rich Hoffman, you were talking about it, and we all respect Rich's view on that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just I heard Tyrone yesterday talking about it. It's 9. He says I need 9 minutes. But I need nine good minutes, but I got to get it from different people. And did it go too long? Like he was of the belief, I think, that it went too long with Niang the other day.
I thought 18 was too long for him. I saw what he did offensively, and yes, you do need it. And I love when he's wide open and he bangs threes. And it means so much to this team when he does. I just thought Doc stood with him a little bit too long because when he was hitting threes early on, teams playing well, he was a plus 12. He kept him in there. The Celtics started coming back. The Celtics started searching him. And during that time, he was a minus 14. I thought you could have read it a little bit better is all I'm saying. 18 minutes is too much for George Niang.
And he was talking about, give me 9. But he said, but then I need some other guys. They were talking about yesterday in the best show ever is that Doc is working with too tight a bench. That he didn't. But now that you're this far into a series, he's afraid to, or he just doesn't like the matchups. He's never going to bring a Shake Milton off the bench. He's never going to bring because right now, for some reason, he doesn't like those matchups. In another series, he might.
And I think in other series, like a Niang is good. If they played a Milwaukee, which leaves open outside shots, yes, George Niang would be really good there. I've said it since like the middle of the season. I'm kind of down on Shake Milton. I can't give him meaningful minutes. I was surprised that Jalen McDaniels didn't get any run on Sunday. When you need defense, he's pretty good that way. And if you look at game 1, as we talked about, after DeAnthony Melton had such a great first half and put up his 17 points, and it was spectacular, that Doc Rivers went to Jalen McDaniels in that spot in the fourth quarter because he wanted to go with defense. So I was a little bit surprised. I thought maybe you cut Niang's minutes in half and give the other half to McDaniels. I'm not really sure why he chose not to, but they won the game.
It's yesterday I got a phone call from a former media member that I worked with, that I knew, crossed paths with down in the city of Atlanta. And he was working on a piece, and it's a piece that's not going to endear himself to some of the local Philly media because he was talking about the Philadelphia media coverage of Jalen Carter. And he was just collecting and cherry-picking stuff that was written about Jalen Carter in this town, commentary that's been made, blogs that have been made about Jalen Carter with incorrect, factually incorrect information about him. And I got to tell you, I am rooting like hell for Jalen Carter to succeed so much, not just because I'm a huge Eagles fan, but if only to shut up his detractors, who obviously the majority of his detractors that talk about him as a player, I can tell from commentary and just trying to read them, and I was being asked my opinion. What do you think of the commentary on it? I think a lot of people didn't watch a lot of them and don't know, and they're going by, well, he showed up for his pro day. He was a little chunky on his pro day, and he couldn't finish. I am rooting like hell for this young man to succeed, and I understand the cannibalization of our own can happen in any American city, but wow, I just the negative press coverage that this young man has already faced here. I think it's been very negative.
I haven't seen it.
One thing.
Yeah,
you haven't read that. You haven't read all about his character issues. I read 3 different. Well, you got to read because there's 3.
I do. I read the papers every day. I haven't.
You haven't read the character issue pieces on.
Of course, there is character issues. You can talk to Adam Schefter and anybody you want. That's the main thing surrounding Jalen Carter is that he has character issues,
and there is a lot of factually incorrect information that people who have been around him for years say, I don't know where these people are getting this.
Like what? I haven't seen anything that I see written as character issues. It tells what happened that night.
No, but there are inaccuracies in the coverage of that night.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know you said that back when he started, that people have to look up what happened that night. I have not seen any local media, and I've been on the hunt for this. So any local media that put something out there that wasn't stated by either police or whatever in Atlanta of what happened that night.
When they talk about drag racing in the death,
I never saw drag racing.
I absolutely saw the auto race.
Are local media?
They were not yet. That they were not even. He was racing with someone when they crashed. He was not racing with someone when they crashed. He stopped. He was not with, it wasn't. They're making it sound like 2 cars were going side by side and one crashed. That's not what happened. It wasn't even close to what happened.
I have not seen anybody write that, John. I swear to God, I have not.
We will, Jalen, I root for you to have great success. And I know this, the amount of people that think that there are major red flags with Jalen Carter. There are members of the coaching staff that didn't dig him as much as other players. Let's put it that way. He wasn't how one guy will be the guy that the coaching staff points to and says, follow him, do him, be him. He was never that guy. And if that's a red flag to somebody, that's okay.
And you had stated that before.
And that's what it is. Some of the coaching staff, I knew people around the Georgia program that were like, he's not that guy. Whereas Nakobe Dean is that guy. Whereas Jordan Davis was that guy. He wasn't. But the thing is, there are people who will say that red flags. If that's a red flag, I don't know. I know a lot of people like that who are more just take care of their own business and follow what they're doing. But it'll be interesting to watch when this young man hits training camp. What is the story? And hopefully he gets nothing but support here because we certainly need him in a big way. They need him to step in this year before they get rid of some of their fine talent that will move on.
Yeah, it's funny when you brought this up. I went back, I looked, I scratched my memory of all the stories that I've read, and I read a couple of papers every day. I haven't not only seen, and I was on the lookout for that because that's what I do for a living, and that's what writers do for a living. You factually want to be correct. You don't say that 2 people died when they were racing. You want to clarify they were racing after the races stopped.
After the race stopped, somebody else is still racing, doing 104 miles an hour, 2.5 times the legal limit drunk.
Right. And we know that because people reported that. That's what the police said.
He was nowhere near them. Nowhere near them when they crashed.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I have not seen that at all, in all honesty.
And I'm going to applaud our own Tim McManus, who I know is putting together a piece of trying to talk to the people around the Georgia program to get to the character issue. And I know Tim's working on it right now. So doing the hard work and the labor, and I put him in touch with some people to be able to do that. Let's get to 5 questions.
It's time for 5 questions with John Kincaid.
So Connor or Haley can come around first to get in here, but I'm going to go first question. Is going to go to Pat Egan.
Question 1.
Pat, I asked before the season, could Aaron Nola be affected by pitching under pressure to secure a new contract? Do you believe there's any chance I might be right about that now?
No. I mean, look, is there any chance? Yeah, there's a chance.
But you're not thinking that's part of this?
Yeah, I think it has more to do with the pitch clock situation. He was a slow pitcher. The fact that every other year he seems to struggle. Maybe a little bit of the contract, but I've always found it hard. I've always found it hard to believe. There we go. I really can't talk to that.
I know. What is
is
I
this?
don't know. I had a stroke. That in the moment, players are not thinking about their contract. When they step in the box, they're not going, "Oh man, last year in my deal here,
right?
I better, And then when they stick to the rubber, they're not going, "I better make this pitch for my con." I don't think that they view it like that. Maybe after the game, yeah.
Yeah, during the week or whatever.
I don't. I just think he's struggling because every other year he seems to struggle, and there's new rules.
His price tag's dropping, I think.
Because
reportedly he wants $200 million.
I see. I think somebody will still give him $200 million.
Wow.
I mean, pitching is like quarterbacks in baseball. A desperate team will give him that money just to have a quote frontline starter.
And you know what they'll be getting? Daniel Jones. They'll be paying
Ryan
for Daniel Jones.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Still.
Oh, I think he's better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to Aaron
There you
Nola.
go. He's Daniel Jones.
Well, I think that's disrespectful to Aaron Nola, too.
Hey, question 2.
Question 2.
Connor Thomas.
Hello.
How are you, brother?
I'm good.
What do you think? You think Aaron could in any way the contract?
Man, it's really hard to tell what's in that guy's head, if anything. He has no emotions. I don't know if he thinks about anything. He just goes out there and plays.
A 26-year-old Portland man is being charged with assault.
That's not good.
After another man pretended to pee on him at a bank of urinals to create a social media prank video. The guy literally thought the guy peed on him with a fake. He had like a fake.
Yeah.
And
he had a fake what?
He was peeing on him.
We get it.
To create a social.
Really didn't have a wiener, but you got the point.
The man felt it go on, looked down, saw it happening, turned, one punch down, punched out the guy doing the video. He's being charged with assault. Would you have ever been that guy? If someone peed on your leg, someone like you're standing at a urinal, you thinking someone's purposely peeing on you.
Only if they tell me it's raining.
Very good, Pat. Would you have ever found yourself being at 26? He turns, one punch out.
I'm a little bit worried because if I say I don't think so, I'm worried someone's going to listen. They're going to be like, if I see Connor at the urinal, whatever, he's not going to stand up for himself. And I'm going to get a little collateral damage out of this. But I don't think I would. I don't really have the fighting.
So you don't think you'd.
Fighting gene. No. Would I be like, dude, what are you doing?
He sort of turns towards him a little bit and he thinks he's being peed on.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bobby? You're 26.
This happened to my dad.
It happened to you.
My dad was in line at a bank across the street from the Daily News one day, and a guy came in and pulled down his pants and pissed on my dad. And my dad looked at him and said, "Oh, my God, what'd you do?" He goes, "Well, of course I wanted to clock him, but I looked at him." He said there was just nothing there.
Nothing was there.
In the guy's head. So
I don't think the guy should be charged.
The guy for punching him, I don't think so either. Isn't that some kind of an assault when you pee on somebody?
Well,
even though it's not real? I would throw that. I would flush that down the toilet in a court of law.
Pat,
so
you wouldn't get into a physical confrontation.
Me? Oh,
okay, I'm just checking.
Why did I get the pee punch question?
There you go.
I'm not getting key shamed here, but
Connor, by the way,
very pointed.
some people, you look like a guy, Connor, who's into that kind of thing.
What, punching someone when
No
they
personal
pee?
questions.
Nope.
Connor, what do you get on the? How do you get to the Locked On Phillies podcast?
You can subscribe on YouTube, Locked On Phillies. Follow us on Twitter at @LO_Phillies. Today, we're going to be talking about Bryce Harper and his first week back. Been pretty darn good.
It has been. Good job, buddy. All right, question 3.
Question 3.
Bob, according to Cosmopolitan magazine,
I read it all the time.
I figured you would.
Yes.
Women happily married 5 years or less in their marriage say they are still disappointed about this one aspect of their relationship.
The sex.
Be more specific.
That's an open-ended
5 years into
question.
5 years or less
lack
into the
thereof.
marriage. It is not that.
There's
it in
too
your
much
pants.
of it.
No, there's not. It's not that either. Coach, you have an idea?
I'm getting close.
Who doesn't like a good boner?
5 years or less in marriage, and the women say they're happily married. But there's one issue, and Bob gets it right. It's about sex.
Cuddling.
You think you're excited? Feel these nipples.
Wait. Bob just said something.
Intimacy.
Go on.
Jeez, I don't know. I'm not that good at this. I'm just a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. God.
Guess and say lack of foreplay.
That's sort of I think you were both getting to it there. That it has become routine.
Not enough
and
spice.
has also become, like Bob says, like, okay, it's Tuesday night, let's just have sex, and I want to get back to whatever I'm doing.
Or the dreaded when you're trying to have kids, and you say, all right, I'm going to work, and your wife says, not yet. We have to,
Today's the day.
And it's like, it's become a business now.
Today's the day.
She's using me.
All right, where's Haley?
Question 4.
Where is Haley?
Come on, Haley.
Why is Haley not around here? I mean, come on now. Coach, I'm going to go to you then with question 4.
Gotcha.
All right, question 4. Coach, your dinner date looks across at the table to you, and it's a first date situation.
Like, you say you're getting sushi or something.
Let's say you're going like on a sushi date.
Okay.
It's your first date. There are 3 things that you may do that are going to annoy her.
Besides me being there.
Sitting across the table from her, what are any of the 3 things? By the way, this is in the same Cosmo. Just
all right. I think I know at least one of them.
Okay.
Which probably would be the biggest one. Would be looking at your cell phone.
That is correct. That you are on your phone while she is talking.
Yeah.
You glance at your phone, you're looking at your phone, whatever. Good job.
Yeah.
That's one of 3. So don't do that if you were going on like a sushi date or something.
Okay. Is it something that you're doing like that, like looking at your cell phone, or could it be something like drinking too much?
No, it's not drinking too much. Maybe Haley can give you a lifeline. Annoyed, Haley. First date, woman is annoyed. Go on.
How about checking out other people? How about or flirting with the waitress?
No, that's not one of them.
Okay.
That isn't one of them.
Talking about yourself too much.
Yeah, that's what I was
Sex
gonna
with
say.
the waitress.
Not listening to her enough.
Because you're having sex with the waitress.
It doesn't say sex with the waitress.
Okay.
But Pat, that could be part of it.
I already have
not
the question,
listening
my bad.
to her enough in the conversation and and your eating habits and manners.
Well, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
How you talk, talking with your mouth full, using your knife and your fork as if you were a caveman, and any kind of like the bad manners at the table. So, Coach, be very careful.
So let me ask you a question
Yes.
off of that. Because I've had somebody say this to me once before. If you're cutting something like a vegetable or something and you don't use your knife and you use your fork to cut something, is that bad table manners?
Yes. A fork is not supposed to be cutting anything. A knife is cutting.
Okay.
But I don't think it's bad table manners if you're not handling them terribly. Just don't swing around your weapons there.
My what?
Yeah, your weapons. Hey, Haley, let's go.
Final question.
Haley, do you think the NHL draft lottery was fixed last night?
100%. Are you kidding me? I knew it was going to be Chicago the moment that
The moment that they got picked.
Yeah, it was obvious. I mean, Chicago's an original 6 team, huge market, big fan base, and there was no way they were going to give it to Anaheim. So I knew.
So you do believe it was fake?
Oh, 100%. 110%.
You're not the only one. There are a lot of, just if you do the Google search today, a lot of hockey blog sites and everything that all think that the draft got fixed last night, the lottery, I should say, so Connor Bedard would be a Blackhawk. So Pat Egan, you tend to sometimes ride the fence on these conspiracy theories. Do you believe the NHL fixed the draft lottery for Chicago?
Absolutely not.
So you don't?
No.
You just happen?
No, I think this conspiracy theory BS is just that. Chicago had the third highest chance of getting it.
He does not believe it's a fix because they were the third.
No, this wasn't like the 10th team jumping up. Everybody loves to jump at, oh my God, look.
It does seem like
come on.
It does seem like Chicago's the best place for him to, of the top teams for him to be. You don't want him in Vancouver.
No, I think Montreal would be a better spot for the NHL than Chicago.
See, I think America wouldn't care, and right now they're dying for America to care.
But I mean, entertaining this is like, no, they didn't fix the lottery system.
So let me just say this. So in the draft lottery last night, nothing moved until they got to the top 3 teams. And it's a little suspicious. Before the break, Kevin Weeks even said, oh, it's going to be Columbus at 3. But yet it was not revealed to the public yet.
Yeah, why don't they show you?
Why don't they show us the ping pong balls?
There. Bob has been in the room when this has gone on.
I don't know if the NHL does the same as the NBA. What the NBA does is they actually do what they show on TV an hour earlier. And they have people there, witnesses. There was, I think, 5 of us media members from throughout the country showed us everything that was there, all laid out. It's done. Boom. Impossible to fix it in that scenario.
I mean, they have shown the ping pong balls in the past. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but we do know that ping pong balls can be that can be fixed.
Look, believe what you want. They didn't fix it.
He is good job.
There's too much on the line for people that are in that job, and as much as you may like them or hate them, whether it's commissioner or people below the commissioner, it's an important damn job that you're running. What?
People
below
the commissioner? Okay.
that you're going to put yourself on the line like that.
Also, if you're the NHL, what market do you think you want to boost up more? Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose,
Chicago.
Or Chicago. You think they want to boost up Chicago, which already has a built-in fan base, original 6 team, can do with a top 3 player in the league, but doesn't need number 1? Or would it be Anaheim, Columbus, or San Jose in markets that aren't necessarily built for hockey? They would need a star.
Man.
I would think you'd probably give them the best player, but what do I know?
Hey, in Cooney's,
you know a lot.
In Cooney's corner, he thinks the Sixers may have an advantage tonight. We'll find out what the advantage is coming up. John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Your chance to win a $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want. And yesterday, in the company-wide contest, one of our listeners won during our show. $1,000. Let's do it again this morning. Be listening. Just around 6 minutes. I'll make sure you get it out there and get it on in. There is one other conspiracy theory that everybody seems to buy into, even people who don't buy into conspiracy theories. It's the Scott Foster conspiracy theory. Scott Foster seems to always be the one where people say, Scott Foster, he worked game 3 and he's going to protect what the league wants. And then last night, he works the Laker game 4. He seems to get some strategic assignments. That's Scott Foster.
I did a huge story on the whole NBA reffing thing years back and spent days up in the NBA offices in New York and watched tons and tons of film. At the time, he was graded out as the best ref in the NBA. Scott Foster was. This is probably about 6 years ago.
What do you think of his performance? I certainly, if anybody's blaming Scott Foster for the Game 3 loss by the Sixers, I think I'm going to just say it's foolish.
Yeah, I don't.
The referees did not cause you to poop the bed in that game.
No, I don't think so either.
That game was not a ref game.
No.
But
the only thing about reffing,
he spooks people.
Yeah, the only thing about reffing to me is when I notice them. I don't want to notice them. I don't sit there and say, "Oh, great call," or "Oh, horrible call." If everybody knew all of the studying and everything that goes into reffing games, I think you'd come away impressed.
Sixers may have an advantage tonight in Cooney's corner. What is it?
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
It has to do with just that, John. Now, you get different refs. It's funny, I heard somebody call yesterday. Don't they have the same refs throughout the whole series? No. They switch around all the time. As John just pointed out, you had Scott Foster here for a game. He's out in L.A. last night. I may have talked to someone who the refs will be today, but I am not allowed to say as of yet.
How about initials?
Nope.
Do you like the officiating crew?
Can't say.
Okay.
So,
damn.
I do think, though, there is kind of a carryover of, was that a push-off by Tatum or not? Obviously, the higher-ups in the NBA talked all about it, had endless meetings about it. There was that. James Harden got knocked down in the lane, which was something else that was reviewed that wasn't called. So I just wonder if maybe, just maybe, I'm a referee going into that game and I say, wow, human element comes into play. Man, the Sixers didn't get a lot of calls in that last game. I'm going to make sure that it's more even this game. I'm not saying that is definitely going to happen, but I'd be shocked. I'd be surprised if the Sixers didn't get some of the questionable calls tonight.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Now, questionable being, and this was pointed out to me in a text last night, let's not forget, there are calls that are 50-50. And as I said to you guys yesterday, all the studying that they did on that Tatum push-off that I said, and we had an emailer yesterday, I don't understand what Bob's saying. That was a push-off. I agree it was a push-off. I'm telling you what I was told by the league. The league said that they ruled it not. But it's such a 50-50 play, that one, that I told you. The last 2-minute report came out, and they ruled it a correct no call. I also asked, what if they called it? And they said it probably would have been called a correct call. So there are plays that can go both ways, but you have to choose one or the other. I think tonight, if it's a close game, I think it's going to be more than fair the Sixers' way. I'll put it that way.
Ooh, I like this. Pat, now I'm intrigued.
And I'm not saying that referees have this in their head.
Sixers
Believe me,
by
they don't.
100. That you heard it here first.
There
from
it is.
Bob Cooney.
No, I'm intrigued by that.
I am too. I think the conspiracy theories you talked about with Scott Foster, it seems to be legitimate a lot of times.
Yeah, he gets to work a lot of games that...
And it's incredible because much like in the MLB and Angel Hernandez, you sit there and you go, why exactly is he still employed?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that union is tough. I shouldn't know your name.
Right.
The referee should be offensive lineman.
Well, my name It's right
it's on
behind
the
it.
sign. I see it.
It is. I mean, you should know mine.
But with refereeing, I shouldn't really know any of your names.
Yep.
And the fact that I do know Scott Foster, and that's not a good thing. Not really a good thing at all. So I hope that he's not doing many Sixers games moving forward.
Yeah, that's.
I always get concerned when I see him on the list.
Let's hope he's not getting any phone calls right before the game too from other officials.
Well, what is it behind Foster exactly? Is it that the away team wins at an alarming rate when he's the ref, or what are the numbers behind Foster?
He's known as the league's official.
I don't know what that means.
The conspiracy theory is that whatever the league wants to happen, the teams that they want to happen, that they right now they want Boston and the Lakers.
The league wants the Boston and the Lakers?
Yeah, right now they could have. If they could pick a finals right now, the league's taking Boston Lakers. I mean, that's the marquee matchup of all time in the NBA is Boston and the Lakers.
Why isn't Sixers Lakers?
Because I think it's Boston Lakers has always been that's sort of if you're saying the gold standard matchup of the NBA in their history, it's Boston and the Lakers. I think
from the history going back to the 80s.
No, but I think it's in the history of the NBA. That's the most famous matchup.
Pat,
There's no
the
other
history of
matchup
your
between
NBA.
teams.
I'm just in the history of your NBA watching, Pat. Does Lakers Celtics mean anything?
No.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's us, John.
Really? I think
because think about it. When was the last time Lakers Celtics were champions?
No, but I'm saying in the history of the NBA, it's the most famous rivalry cross conference, and it's not close.
Yeah, but I don't think the NBA cares about what happened 40 years ago.
See,
right now, it's not like LeBron James. Are people more sick of LeBron James or love LeBron James? Would they rather have Golden State still carry this on? Does Boston carry the mark? Wouldn't they rather have the MVP, who's never won a championship, in the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know if the NBA has a feeling of what they want. I don't think it really matters. They're making money hand over fist. It doesn't really matter.
I didn't want to talk out of turn, so I looked up the stat for Bob. Scott Foster's history with James Harden. So after the Sixers defeated the Heat in Game 4 of last year's playoffs, Harden's teams improved to 2-13 in playoff games officiated by Scott Foster.
All right, keep him away.
He's got kind of a gripe, it seems like, with James Harden and Chris Paul is like the legendary. That battle's pretty big between those two.
Let's give everybody a chance to win $1,000 this morning.
97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway.
The keyword is invest. I want you to type in the word invest. Either enter the keyword on the Fanatic app, go to 97.5thefanatic.com, or text it to 45911. The keyword is invest. 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway presented by American Standard HVAC Contractors. To find a dealer, visit AmericanStandardAir.com. One person selected at random is going to win. Get complete rules for this company-wide contest at 97.5thefanatic.com. Invest. The Fanatic app, 97.5thefanatic.com, or text it to 45911. Can we do it 2 days in a row, fellas?
Sure,
2
why
days
not?
in a row.
Let's do it.
I think it'd be damn good. Let's try it. Let's see what we can do. Dante in the Northeast joins us on the Fanatic. Dante, how are you, my brother?
Yeah. Give me 1 second, brother. I'm trying to win this $1,000.
Oh, yeah, do it. Type that in. Invest. INVEST.
All right, we're good. Yeah, so if you guys want to have a second winner on the show, you can just call my name right now. I'm right here on the phone.
Bob's got $1,000 in his pocket. So
yeah.
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bobby.
Dante, what's up? I got you.
But no, just my main reason is, look, I can't take, the fans, the first thing they want to point at and go to are the refs.
Uh-huh.
Listen, can refs dictate a game? Yes, they can. But has it happened this series? No, it hasn't happened this series. Bob, you hit it right on the nose when you said you just don't want to notice them. And games 1 through 4, I have not noticed them. Have they made a couple questionable calls? Yeah, but they're bang calls, okay? Something we just have to live and deal with at the end of the day. And I have a podcast for some of you that don't know, right? And I'm covering Game 4 Sunday night, and my podcast partner is talking about the refs. And I just had to calm him down and tell him, listen, the refs are not the reason why the Celtics came back in Game 4 and took that lead.
No.
The refs did not dictate any of that.
They were up by 16. They're up by 16. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we can sit here and complain about the refs all we want, but the refs are not through. Like Jason Kelsey said in his podcast with Travis Kelsey, right? If the refs are the first thing we're going to look at, to me, that's a sort of loser mentality. I can't look at the refs. I can't say, well, yeah, refs did this. No. What did you do that could have changed the outcome of the game? Not the referees.
There you go.
That's just how I feel.
Good job, Dante.
I agree with you, Dante. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good summary there.
Yeah, you have 7 guys on your team, a coach on your team, things that the other team did. I would hope, and usually, and I would say for me, 95% of the time, those things come first before what happened with the whistles in the game.
I'm shocked that people are pointing to the refs. Like in anything of this series, there's been nothing. But I saw it on Friday night. It's, Scott Foster, look, James Harden played like crap.
Oh, he did.
He had nothing, and it had nothing to do with Scott Foster.
How much? But, well, maybe it did, though.
What do you mean?
Maybe Scott Foster was in his head.
Oh.
Maybe he went in
All
going,
right, Pat.
damn, I got to deal with this dude. Now, do I think that was the case? No, I just think it was an off night for James Harden.
Wait a minute. Let's dive into this a little bit.
Okay.
What did we complain about? And I know I heard it with you and Jamie on Saturday. It was a lack of aggressive James Harden in Game 3.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I felt like he wasn't really driving the lane too much.
Maybe he's thinking with Scott Foster,
I'm not going to get the call anyway.
Or I'm going to get called for offensive fouls. This guy's got something against me.
Possible.
Because, well, no, but he crapped out like that in Game 2 also.
He did, yeah. That's why I don't really put a lot of credence in it. But I do think that it probably plays a tiny bit of a factor when you're an NBA player that knows that this ref calls you differently and you see that he's on the assignment that night. You're probably like, damn, I got to deal with this guy.
See,
we heard Fred Van
I don't know that he calls it differently.
I mean, I would say 2-13.
2-13 does
in the playoffs. Yeah, well, James Harden, he's going up against Golden State in the playoffs, San Antonio in the playoffs. Scott Foster gets the best games because he is rated as one of the best referees. So he's going up against James Harden when James Harden is going up against those teams I just mentioned, and Harden's team didn't win a lot. I don't know if there's a correlation or not.
I think there's a correlation.
There we go.
You love
Interesting.
Scott Foster. You're all Scott Fostered up.
Why is that, Pat?
Well, you're the only guy I know that has a
Scott Foster shirt.
Wait a minute, Scott Foster's texting him right now. That's the guy that texted him.
Show up and people are like, is this guy work at Foot Locker? And Cooney's like, no, it's just my Scott Foster original.
It's unbelievable. I know that there was.
Shame me.
I know there was a Game 6 of a critical series years back where they had 3 O'Hara guys working the game. All working. It's amazing.
Wish I had the betting tips for that one.
I love the fact that and Tyrone Johnson bangs this drum on the best show ever. And yesterday afternoon, I think he was incredibly eloquent with it. Why in the hell do we have 50-something slow guys who are like 5'10" and below refereeing NBA games? I'll never understand it. I've never understood why we have guys 50 and above running up and down football fields being the officials in football games.
Unions are a hell of a thing.
It is. It's freaking ridiculous that you wouldn't have European, like he's saying, how many guys grow up playing college basketball that don't end up making it to the pros? Send them right to an officiating academy. Guys who are 6'4", 6'3", athletic, young, can move up and down the court.
They might.
Send them?
No, make that a career path. Make it the NBA makes it a career.
They don't want it. Maybe they don't want it.
No, they want the 50-something-year-old white guys that are like dragging the masses up and down the court.
Well, you can't make somebody look. No, you're not good enough to play. Go be a referee.
No, I'm not telling you make them. You create a path. Bob, is what I'm saying is guys who know they're never going to make it in the NBA. You're not going to get to the NBA. You're 27, 28 years old. You've had your shot. You're not going to make it. But you know what? You're athletic. You are strong. You are young. You got young legs. You are tall.
Well, they might.
And and we're going to create an officiating academy where we are going to train you to be an NBA official.
That's already out there.
No, but we're not asking. But the jobs right now, who's leaving the jobs?
If somebody wants to be a referee, they can go be a referee. You can't make them. You're 6'4", you're long, you're lanky, you're athletic. You can't play basketball.
Bob, you're getting hung up. I'm not saying make them.
You
give
just
them
said it twice,
No, give
John.
them
You
an
said make
option.
them go.
You give them
They
an
already
option.
have the option. You can do whatever you want in this world.
Tell me who the officials are.
If you want to go to a referee school and become a referee, you can do it.
And what are they going to make? Then how come we're not seeing them in the NBA?
Because I guess kids don't want to do it. You're specifically saying guys that play basketball that are 6'4", that are long, that are lean, that are athletic, they need to go be referees. They might not want to.
Yeah, they might want to be.
I don't know what you'd say. Like, all right, you can't play, so go be a referee. Everybody has a choice in their career.
But are you seriously thinking they're doing the best job by having 50-something-year-old guys?
Now you're moving the goalposts.
No. That's been my point all along. Is that they have the wrong guys officiating
Since when is
games
officiating so bad all of a sudden?
I think officiating's terrible in pro sports. I really do.
I think it's a thankless job.
I think it's always a thankless job.
I think the bigger argument for your point, I do think there's plenty of guys that are probably, they get out of college, they realize that, and they do want to be a ref. There's a couple of things that go against it, though. Refs it's because it's such a thankless job, a lot of people are getting out of the ref game.
Yeah.
They're like, it's just not worth it because they have to start in the grassroots era of AAU. They have to deal with parents that are, the worst. They have to deal with coaches that are the worst. They just aren't finding value in doing it. It's not just like you can go from a ref academy and get, a Big Ten game and then move up. But the bigger thing is how many of these refs are leaving the job? How many of these?
No, they don't leave the job because the union will keep them in a job until they're ready to stumble off the court.
Like I've brought it up before, and I don't understand it. Your eyesight gets worse as you get older.
Correct.
I'm blind without contacts or glasses, and yet we have 60-year-old Angel Hernandez out there guessing where a 95-mile-per-hour pitch lands. He's horrible. Everybody knows it. But he's going to continue to do the job because they're not going to fire him.
But those guys, though, Pat, don't have to run around.
Well, no, but
these officials in the NBA have to move more than any official.
Yeah, but it goes back to you've got a guy who's not good at his job, but he will keep his job because the union won't go, yeah, dude, you're just not cutting anymore. We're gonna fire you, and that's what they should do. So it just seems like it's a career path that once you finally make it in the NBA, then you've pretty much got a job until you don't want it anymore.
They're reviewed and it's suggested. Let's put it that way. You get,
and I don't know. I'm asking because it seems like you do. How many refs are there in the league, and how many
ever get replaced
are fired after fired every year? I should say.
There's ones that are weeded out. There are every year, and you see new ones coming in. And look, we don't recognize faces all that well. Right. At least I don't. But look at all the new influx of female referees that have come in. So you see that there is change. I mean, there's probably 10 to 15 female referees now. There wasn't any when I was covering the league 6 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think there were.
So there is change, and there is guys that come in that you think that are okay that do get weeded out. I just wonder, real quick, John, it's funny, Deptford over in Jersey, they did a thing there's so few umpires over there now that if fans argue with an umpire, they're not thrown out of the game. They're made to come and umpire a game the next week or whatever in order to, two things, stop arguing with the umpires, and B, because there's such a shortage of umpires, that's how they get them.
I love that rule.
It's pretty cool. There was a whole story on it. I'll send it to you guys. But
I see refs get crap in like men's league hockey games. It happened in my last hockey game. A couple of my teammates were crying because they thought a guy dove. And I sat there and went, guys, we're playing low-level C League. Nobody's good enough to actually have the wherewithal to dive in that moment. Like, none of us can skate. This is ridiculous.
Hey, Kenny joins us. Kenny, what's going on, brother?
I got to go with you, Kincaid. My brother did 20. That's how I met Bob in Stockton when they used to be at Stockton doing Sixers camp. But then they moved to Jersey, Camden. My brother Tim does training camp, and he did 20 years in the Navy, does NBA. Listen, that's a hell of a career working in NBA. The problem is, and people may not like it, but they still stuck in their ways. They'll take 3 regular and then 1 minority. Like, they got to even it out more. And like you said, once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you're in. I mean,
you're into you 70 or 80 years old until you drop dead on the court.
you got guys that I just can't accept. We're younger, stronger, faster. The athletes.
100%.
And bigger and taller. And we have guys looking up trying to make calls that I don't know how it's expected that that's the best solution.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I agree with you. They got to change some type of format, like when they come out of college, because it is a great career. Like, he lives out Collegeville, bought a house, doing great.
I love it. Thanks, Kenny. I mean, it is a great career.
Yeah, if you like doing it, refereeing's not for everybody, as we know. No job is for everybody. It's they
travel well. They have per diem. They have travel well. They have per diem. They have a career that gives them a nice break at the end of the season. The travel's got to be a bitch.
Yeah.
That's got to be, like, not fun.
As far as the age stuff and all, I hear you. And probably a lot of times you'll look and say, man, how's that guy stand? Joey Crawford was still the best referee in the NBA up until he retired.
Ask Tim Duncan.
I mean, like he graded out that way. Yeah, Joey doesn't ever talk about Tim. You can't even bring his name up to him, and Joey will hang up the phone if you do. But as far as long, lean, all that stuff. Yeah, okay, but if people out there knew, and then somebody said, oh, you're always going to bat for the referees. No, I'm really not. I'm just saying because I've been lucky enough to be educated on what they do in their jobs and how much time and effort that they put into it. I'm just saying I'm telling you how it goes. It's not as simple as, oh, this guy sucks, he can't make that call.
Tom McGinnis joins us at the bottom of the hour. We get ready for Game 5 tonight. You're going to hear it right here on The Fanatic. John Kincaid Show on 97.5. if you snore,
I've been getting complained about it for the last 3 nights.
well, it's
Sorry, I
because
didn't
of
mean
your.
to
It's
interrupt you.
because of your. I think it's because of the allergies.
That's what I said.
And all the work you've been doing in the yard.
You know what you should do? You should switch sides of the bed, Bob.
Yeah, we did that.
Really? Does that work?
No.
Oh,
No,
well,
so there's a story here. Are you doing a read for allergies
Yeah, let me
now?
do that.
Yeah, let him do that.
No,
first.
it's for sleephealthypa.com. Because if you snore, you could have sleep apnea. So check out sleephealthypa.com. It's a sleep solution that you've been looking for. Sleephealthypa.com. So what's the story?
So I don't know, Friday night or one of those Saturday, I forget. I don't know how it came up about switching sides of the bed. Now, we've been on the same side of the bed for 30-plus years. And somehow Don said, yeah, let's switch one night. I get up Sunday morning. She gets up Sunday morning a little bit before me. I walk out to the family room, and she's sitting there, and I give it the thumbs down. She goes, what's the matter? I said, how'd you sleep? She goes, oh, my God, I slept great. That side of the bed is so much nicer. I love it. And she goes, why'd you give thumbs down? I said, oh, no reason. I just was wondering if you slept bad or good. I slept horribly for 3 nights now on this side of the bed.
Really?
Horribly. Yeah. I don't know why. I can't get comfortable. Donna says I've been snoring, which says I'm sleeping, but I don't know. But I don't have the guts to tell her, because now she's moved all her little trinkets.
So you went from one side to the other nightstand.
Yeah.
Okay, are you a back sleeper? Or are you a side sleeper?
I'm more of a side sleeper, yeah.
I'm a side sleeper, but can't you end up doing the same thing?
You can. I don't know. But it's a type of bed that when we got it, also her mattress, that the numbers were for her and the numbers are different for me. So
okay.
I don't know, but I can't switch back now because I don't want to take away her luxurious sleeping.
Well, I mean, it's
So I'm a little cranky. I apologize to
Putting
everybody
a whole new
involved.
meaning into keeping her up late at night, huh, Bobby? Not the sexy kind, though.
No, that wasn't a meaning at all. No.
The same side of the bed.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know, because sometimes you joke with a guy of like, you keep her up late at night with your sex moves, but you didn't do that. It was just your snoring.
It was just the moving to the other side of the bed.
Yeah.
The snoring keeping her up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have to, you know what I have to get? And I did it before. They kind of work, those things
The
you put
nose
on
strips?
Yeah, the nose strips work for me. Because Pat, as we know by looking at Pat every day, allergies are just still killers out there. Oh, you know what was weird? I had to fix the screen on my door yesterday because my dog ran into it in Bennett. So I take that out. We just got a new front
Cry
door.
for help there, Bobby.
Yeah, so I take that out, I fix it, whatever, put it back in. Well, our new door, the regular door, it's got like a little ledge on it as part of the design.
Right.
I unknowingly, I just put my hand up there and was fixing. I look up. John, there was so much pollen on that little ledge of the door. It's unbelievable. Horrible, Pat.
I always I grew up in the Jackass era of the MTV show.
Yes.
And they would always do the stupid stunts and whatnot. And they one time had Steve-O snort wasabi.
Oh no.
Yeah. And you know, I think he got a sinus infection, but I always thought what would be way worse than that would be to snort a bunch of pollen. Like that would be my
terrible.
personal hell.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible when you see some of the trees and stuff, or you come out after parking your car under a tree and you see that just the green slime filth. It's this season is just not it for me. I don't really enjoy April and May too much.
No.
A few weekends ago, they had the police helicopters flying all over our area for looking for Bam. But he claims that it was
Turned
all
himself in.
He claims that it was all nonsense, and the police let him go.
He's been down a rough.
Hopefully he's good.
Rough road.
We interviewed him once at I don't know if it was at a Super Bowl or whatever. He was a really good dude at the time. He was fun and everything like that. I hope he's okay.
Ever since his friend died, he's kind of gone down
I hope he's okay.
Spiral.
Well, you know how you can get away from all these allergy stuff?
How?
Beach-bound vacation. What is it about the beach that draws us in? At Beach-bound Vacations, they can't answer that, but they can get you out there in style with top resorts, ocean view rooms, and luxury transportation.
Wow.
Book your getaway, beachbound.com.
Okay, I like that.
I love the beach.
I do too.
This is what I was actually looking at houses down the shore last night, ones that I absolutely cannot afford, just to get me into the beach mode, because I can't wait for summer to get here.
I can't wait either. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, right?
It's just a mindset.
What's that?
It's just a mindset, guys.
I don't believe it. No, I think it's the ocean breeze. I think it's
The ocean doesn't go anywhere, John. You can go down there right now.
Well, I mean, you can, but you can't during a work week when you're working and you have other obligations.
Quit.
You want to
You want to talk about it, or you want to be about it?
He's got a point, John.
I like to eat, and I like to be able to pay for things.
I didn't say that there wouldn't be sacrifices, John.
Yes. I could live under the boardwalk if that's the case.
Have you guys ever had to sleep under the boardwalk or on the beach?
To sleep?
After like a rough night, or let's say I want to say a bender, but a rough night out and locked out of an hotel or something.
I did the car instead. I didn't stay on the beach.
Yeah,
under
I do the car
boardwalk.
if I would
went
do
to
that.
the car. Many a night's a car in Margate, New Jersey.
Many a night.
More than a few.
I only slept in a car. I only slept in a car twice, but one of them was at the beach.
Yeah,
for the full night.
Then I came down. Yeah, I came down a day early and couldn't. Ended up something didn't. I had to give somebody space.
We had one of our friends fall asleep
Had to give
on
somebody space.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember that.
They needed space. Yes.
I understand why.
They needed space. Not for me.
After working with you for 2 years,
No,
I
not for
understand
me.
why.
They didn't need space for me. They needed space. So, like, it could hang a sock on the door, Pat.
Oh.
Come on, Pat.
They didn't invite you in to hold the camera?
No, I was not doing that. No. Tom McGinnis joins us.
move.
Tom McGinnis does not have an OnlyFans page. He'll join us from Boston coming up.
We associate OnlyFans with obviously the porn stuff, but there is a market there for like a Tom McGinnis to put up some radio calls and whatnot.
I would agree.
Some like legendary calls. And I think he's a guy who would do great on Cameo.
Yes.
I think he would flourish on Cameo for people having happy birthday shout outs from Tom McGinnis and whatnot.
We're trying to convince the great Vern Lundquist. I think Vern Lundquist needs to be on Cameo.
That's just such Uncle Vern. It's
He's
such a soothing,
what a great man,
cool voice.
Bob, did you ever cross paths?
I have not met. I met him. I did meet him at a regional final, but I didn't get to sit and talk.
Obviously,
with him
down in SEC country, we would have a ton of interactions with Uncle Vern. He was one of the. He's just one of the greatest guys. And a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah, seems like it.
Him and his wife ended up getting a place in Tuscaloosa where they just had an apartment that they rented because he'd be all over he would be so over the southeast of wherever his game was going to be that they rented a place in Tuscaloosa that they had an apartment there. So if he had the Georgia game, if he had the Auburn game,
good move.
Just where he could be. Little walking downtown, so out of the Dallas area. So a absolutely awesome person. He's got just that great voice.
He's the comfort. You watch certain games, whatever it may be, and you hear voices. They're just the comfort. I described Zumoff as that the other day.
Yes.
When he was with us, it's just
The guy
there it is.
But there he goes.
Yeah, Kevin Harlan's another one.
Kevin Harlan,
Zoo for sure. Like Zumoff.
A comforting voice
for years, and you guys had it perfectly when he came on. It really was. It was like I associate Sixers basketball with guys like him and Tom because they've been doing it for so long that guys like me, we grew up with it. I don't remember a time where Tom or Mark Zumoff wasn't. Obviously, I know that now because Mark's moved on, but for years he was kind of the voice of my childhood when it came to the Iverson era and ushering that in, and now Joel Embiid and whatnot.
You want to know what and I should have said it the other day when he was with us. Talk about foxhole type of person, Pat, Mark Zumoff. When I interned under him at Prism, you're a college kid, and we used to get $10 a shift to be able to cover gas money, like your gas money and expenses or subway expenses to come down.
And John was ahead of his time. He walked.
And it was I took the subway down from Temple. So I would take the subway right down there to the stadium because it was in the Spectrum. Mark Zumoff always would, if we had to work what was considered like a double or you worked a longer intern shift, he always would I got the pizza. I got the...
yeah, he's a good man.
And he wasn't making Mark Zumoff money at the time.
Yeah.
But he always looked out for the youngsters.
After the Sixers season was over, he would host what was called the Zumoff Closed.
Closed?
Not like the U.S. Open. It was the Zumoff Closed. And he would invite about 12 of us to go play golf somewhere. And he would take care of everything. Take care of the golf, take care of the lunch,
Closed.
everything. So it was the Zumoff Closed, yeah.
He was ahead of his time. with
Yes,
that
he
angle.
was.
Let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline. You know, every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, get you ready for what's next. And I do not believe, Bob's told us, we do not believe we have woken up Tom McGinnis, the voice of the Sixers, on this Tuesday morning up in Boston, because you probably have a busy day planned before and after shootout, right, Tom?
Oh, yeah. Good morning, guys, and thank you for having me. No, unfortunately, I was up early and then went back to bed, but no doubt exciting day. Yep, we're getting ready to go to shoot around, and been up for a couple of hours and had the same game day routine that I followed for years. And, you know, the availability in terms of getting to talk to the players, I think is usually prior to practice here in the postseason. But I never, and I can honestly say I've never taken for granted that I get to sit in on an NBA practice, particularly at this stage with what's at stake. It's so cool. And the staff is, in terms of the front office and whatnot, but it's pretty neat. So we'll be at the Garden within the hour. And, it's funny, too, because I don't use a lot of what's said in there. Ooh, they're going to go for pick and roll, and they're going to dunk it. Every now and then there's something obvious, but most of it's just the vibe, the feel, and being a part of it and being allowed to, in the room where it happened, as they say in the play Hamilton.
So what are you looking for this morning? If you've been around days that ended up turning out great and days that ended up turning out poorly, if you say it's something about the vibe and the energy, what are you looking for this morning? You know this team.
Yeah, no, that's one thing. I think coaches, and Bob's heard this a million times too, it's you can't judge the game on a shoot-around, but the vibe would be, the intensity. And I'll tell you what you won't hear. You won't hear a coach yell, guys, we got to lock in today. You won't hear it because they are going to be locked in. And I've heard that before. Look, sometimes, like Ben Kenyon's the strength coach, he comes out with a speaker, and there's music, and you know what I mean? Like, where they're stretching and whatnot. And then, it starts all lovey-dovey and all that. And there are days where coaches getting after them, like, okay, turn the music down, cut the music. You know what I mean? Like, it won't be that. That's for sure. It's just like I said, there'll be an intensity, a workmanlike. There's one days, like I can remember, like when we were in Milwaukee, whatever it was a couple months ago, whatever PJ had done to Joel, they were like high schools where Embiid was avoiding PJ Tucker. And then when practice started, he felt like it was in a safe zone. I don't know if he gave him a wet willy in the ear or whatever he did, but I was watching. I said to Kate Scott after, I'm like, did you see Joel and PJ? That was hysterical. Like, but you won't have any of that today. That's for sure.
Speaking of P.J. Tucker, Tom, and intensity, what he did the other day, gets a key offensive rebound, put back, about to go to the line, and he goes to Joel Embiid and I don't want to say screams at him, but screams in his ear. Yeah, is that comparable to anything you've seen before with this Sixers team? And is it exactly what this team needs right now?
Yeah, that was quite the visual, right? And I think that's probably taken place in the huddle any number of times. But yeah, for sure. I don't think we've ever seen that with Embiid, right? And yeah, again, you go back to what Joel said right after they were eliminated last year in the Miami series, like, we need a guy like P.J. Tucker. And bang, they go out and get P.J. Tucker. And what Coach said after the game the other day, like the difference is from between last year and this year, we got P.J. Tucker. So that three-point play, I mean, this might be an elimination game today if it wasn't for that. So he doesn't score much, doesn't shoot much. But that was a pivotal play, catching that air ball by Harris and scoring it. But it is the leadership. More than anything, it's that. But he brought like a communication to the defense. And, guys aren't used to using their voice. Different guys lead in different ways. But on defense, you got to bark out the calls. And he did that. And it became like contagious in a good way for our team. And I go all the way back to like McAllister Fieldhouse at the Citadel in Charleston in September at training camp, where that became kind of how it works. This is what we're going to do, and you need that. And then the bigger thing, too, is the trust and the accountability, where these guys have developed the bond and the chemistry and the closeness that allows you to do that. Like, every relationship gets fractured at times, and then you've got to be able to make a repair and move on. But sometimes the hard things to hear, none of us want to hear, and we're also defensive when we push back. So his point was, Joel, I know what you can do. Do it. He felt like there was a little bit of timidity there toward the end, and that's what he was trying to say. So it's been large, no doubt about it.
Tom, I've never seen a playoff series where you see two performances like James Harden has put out there in games 1 and games 4, and then the two that he sandwiched in games 2 and 3. Any idea about why one game you see the ultra-aggressive James and then another game you don't?
No, other than what we've all seen since the year plus that Harden has been a Sixer, and that is he's not, the 2017-18 Harden, and that he's getting up there and every single night he doesn't have the jets, if you will, to create that separation or the pop in his step to step back and drain a three in your face at the rate that he did in that first with 45 and the fourth with 42 on Sunday. And then they really collapsed on him, too. So, like Coach said, we don't need him necessarily to be an elite scorer, but we need him to be elite. And the way he passes has been really at a superb level. And let's hope we get that version 2 games in a row, because if the Sixers can pull this off, look, they're going to need, and you guys know this, the way this thing is trended during the regular season, Boston won more games. They won 3 out of 4. At times they dominated game 2. They've been dominant against the Sixers in the series. If the Sixers are going to pull this off, they need something a little bit outside the box, whether Embiid has 40 or Maxey has 35 or James has 40 again, or Melton hits 5 threes in the fourth like he did in Brooklyn or in the first quarter here in this year. They're going to need something like that to upset the apple cart and move on. And let's hope it can be Harden, but something is going to have to happen. Otherwise, Boston has had like the more balance and whatnot. So let's hope it's Harden of extraordinary play.
All right, if you get Harden extraordinary play, you get Embiid what we all expect, Tom. Who's the guy, or maybe the guys, that have to come up bigger with this? And maybe it's a deeper guy. Maybe it's, 10 points from somebody deep off the bench. But who do you think are the guys that may do it tonight and need to do it tonight?
Well, and again, like each team is only playing 7 or 8 guys.
Yeah.
I feel like the coach sometimes sitting in bed, I'm going over the lineups or whatever, like it matters what I think. You know what I mean? But you're right. It might be Niang with, a bunch of threes. It could be Melt. Melt didn't even score in the last game. It could be Maxey. Maxey's not. He had 20-something in the first game, 26 or whatever it was. And that's my point. Somebody has to jump up off the page, and we're all going to reflect back, remember that Monday night Boston Game 5? And it's got to be one of these guys because, Paul Reed was sensational. But is Paul Reed going to get 20 points tonight? Probably not. Everyone talks about the non-Embiid minutes. Maybe it's that. Maybe the Sixers excel during that time. It's only 7, 8, 9 minutes a game. But I think it could be Embiid. The last time in the regular season, 52 against Boston. I feel like he's gotten stronger and stronger as the series has gone on. Some of those times over the weekend in Philadelphia, you're watching, you're like, God, this guy's playing with a bad knee. You kind of forget, which is amazing. In that, 2+ weeks ago, he strained a ligament in his knee for, how he plays and whatnot. So I can't give you a definitive answer, but again, Harris, it could be Tobias, been in foul difficulty, hasn't scored. He was held under double figures in 2 straight games for the first time ever in the playoffs. So, and again, you're probably not going to get 30 from Tobias, but what if he bangs in a couple of threes in the guts of the game, and it's he that helps the Sixers get over the hump? That's what I say. It's got to be something like that for it to happen.
You're going to hear Tom McGinnis tonight after Bob Cooney and Devon Givens get you ready for Sixers basketball Game 5 in Boston. Tom, I've known many a broadcaster in sports, and I know that some of them have their own superstitions. Do you have any?
No, I
like
don't.
Things you do, rituals. You say you have rituals as far as your game day routine, but nothing you do that would be considered sort of superstitious?
No, I was using a pen and I've switched to a pencil in the second. Nothing like that. No, the game day routine is rest and workout and pack and those types of things and go over the homework and simple stuff like that, basically. But, it helps to, as you know, in anything, it helps to be organized because it puts you in a good place. But no, there's nothing like that. Like my wife would ask me, are you excited? I don't get excited. I'm filled with trepidation. No, I don't get all jittery excited. I get I feel blessed because I'm here. You know, that I'm sitting in a hotel room getting ready to get on a bus. That will bring me emotion more. And that when I get there, the anthem, just waves over you that you're in an arena in our building, 21,000 fans, and you're in this communal experience with anticipation and at the end with smart. But there's nothing like, I don't jump over the third baseline because I don't want to hit the chalk or anything like that, superstition-wise.
One of the reasons I loved going up to Boston, Tom, one is because I like the city, but two, because our seats were near each other. So during a game, John, I could hear Tom McGinnis doing his announcing of the game. And a lot of times, as I told you before, you're on road trips and we're dog tired and it might be the end of a, 10-game road trip or whatever it is, or you're about to start one. To hear your voice, Tom, it was always so soothing to me when we were on the road that I was able to hear you from wherever I was perched.
Soothing.
A little slice of home, probably.
Exactly.
Right? Wow,
you know
soothing, Tom.
Yeah, well, like our fandom is similar, right? Because we're Philly guys. So when we first got here, before the first game, right, it was the Bruins and the Panthers in the NHL playoffs, Game 7, upset special. The Panthers were in the same hotel. So, I don't watch in the entirety of a lot of NHL playoff games just because I'm watching the NBA. But I locked in for that one. And when the Bruins went down, I punched my fist into the air and I hit like a lamp in our room. Like, oh, but I just wanted to see the Boston fans suffer. Let them go down. You know what I mean? Like, because I've had to sit there and take it, like Game 2 here and other playoffs where it feels like you're tied to a chair and you're getting banged in the face and you just got to sit there like some of those threes raining down and to see their fans. And then the Sixers win the first game, and I swear to God, they talked to a medium on the local news. They're like, could the building be jinxed? Is it the jinx of Tom Brady? I was like,
oh, jeez.
So hopefully we're basking in those types of questions here in Beantown tonight.
Let's go. We'll be, obviously, you're going to hear it right here on The Fanatic, and we'll be looking forward to it. And Devon and Bob will get everybody set up for it after the best show ever today. Have a great broadcast tonight, Tom. We'll be listening.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Gotta love
Bye-bye.
it. Tom McGinnis joined us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day, and Comcast Business gets you ready for what's next. The one thing about packing, when I did travel, doing as a broadcaster, the idea of the packing on game day. Would you pack after the morning so then you were ready to head out, or did you travel?
A lot of times I didn't even unpack, except for what I was wearing that night to the game, because a lot of times you get into a city, maybe it's a night's sleep, go to shoot around, go to the game, and you're out again the next morning. So if it's a long road trip, it's just out with what you have. Covering the NBA, NHL, all those where you're just on the move constantly. You just got to make sure you don't leave anything behind, pretty much. Yeah. That's why I didn't unpack a lot.
Hey, we got a lot coming up for you, including it's time for the Phillies to make a little bit of a statement. At home, John Kincaid Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I know Landis Block and Concrete.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
80 song.
83?
Yeah,
I believe,
something like
Thriller.
that. Yes.
Yeah. Still one of the greatest albums of all time, if not arguably greatest album.
The Thriller album?
Thriller? Or do you not consider that as a music guy?
Yeah. Thriller is probably one of the greatest albums ever made.
I would absolutely.
Not just Michael Jackson, but ever made.
Oh, no questions asked. Pat, is Thriller hit with you?
Not really, but first of all, I'm not really somebody that you kind of go to for music opinions because the music type I like is acquired taste. But I respect what he did for music. It's a lot like the Beatles. Like I'm not really a Beatles fan.
I'm not either.
But I respect what they did for inspiring other artists. And
it's like Chuck Fletcher.
There's no doubt that Michael Jackson inspired so many great artists that I do like.
Yes. There you go. It's like Chuck Fletcher's work. Not bad analogy?
Not a great analogy,
Not a great analogy on my part.
He did well with the Giroux trade for what he had to work with.
Yeah, it did work out well.
Tippett looks like a real player. And
that got ripped, by the way, at the time. Not only because of the fact that Claude Giroux screwed the entire fan base over.
Yeah, I think it should have been ripped for that. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. I think my take was probably similar to now. They got a top 10 pick in Owen Tippett, and he just needed to hit. And it seems like he has.
I think he has.
And that's our quota for Flyers talk today.
I like that. That is very much it. It's the seventh pick in the draft.
Some would say we went a little too long with it.
Seventh pick in the draft just pisses me off. God, it pisses me off.
Why? They went where they were supposed to.
Yeah, but that pissed me off because the whole idea of the lottery is I'm hoping that it's going to be something better.
Well, they should have lost more games.
Yeah, but you
had a team that was in the same building as you that perfected it for years, losing games.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just made a phone call. Hey, how do we do that?
Yeah, but
and somebody would say you score less goals than the other team.
The Flyers say that the Flyers did say though that they're hoping that they will get out of the second round.
The Flyers,
when they finally get through this.
The Flyers did inquire about the availability of Jarvis Varnado, but he was unavailable to play. So there went that. They tried.
They tried.
They tried to trade for Ish Smith, but the Pistons were asking too much money. Where's he at now? Timberwolves? I don't know. He's been on
team. I think he was on his 10th or 11th team
here. It's
here.
Impressive. He's going to have like a 12-year NBA career, and he's going to play for half the teams.
Yeah.
I always liked him too.
He's a great dude. Like one time I asked him about it, he goes, I don't know, is it me? And really good dude. And when the Sixers didn't pick him back up, and we talked on the phone one time, and he's like, dude, I really can't make it on a team that's lost 26 straight games.
The problem is he was too good. And then remember, they kind of got bullied into trading for him.
And then they got him, and they won the next game that they got him, yeah. That's funny.
The glory days of the process.
The glory days. We're there.
One way to put it.
Hey, in Pat's point of view, he's got a list of 6 things that can't happen tonight in Game 5.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Pat.
So I wrote this for the old website. It's called Digital Content.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so this is the 6 things that can't happen in Game 5. A lot of it is kind of obvious, but I'm wondering if you guys can add to it or you disagree with any of it. So I don't think Maxey, Melton, and Harris can struggle again. They went 9 for 29 from the field. Now, I thought Harris had a key, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, a key rebound late in the game that kind of led to a Joel Embiid game-tying shot in overtime. But for the most part, offensively, these guys were absent. And especially D'Anthony Melton looked like he was wearing the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter offensively. He was not. He went 0 for 2 You need more shots from D'Anthony Melton. He was just not a part of the offensive game plan. I like Maxey's aggressiveness, but he was driving the lane against the times 2 and 3 defenders and going to get swatted away. And when it came to Tobias Harris, I didn't feel like he was aggressive enough. So I don't think that those guys can struggle like that again, because you can't rely on James Harden going off for 42 and Joel Embiid adding in 30 plus. You got to get some kind of value from those 3 guys. The other one is I think Jaden McDaniels has to play in this game. I don't think you can afford to have a key rotational player on the bench and just not play while George Niang gets 15 plus minutes. I like Jalen McDaniels' length, and I would like to see a combo of Jalen McDaniels and D'Anthony Melton out there at one point to kind of shut Boston down with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think they could cause problems. I don't think the Sixers can let the Celtics off the hook, and what I mean by that isn't just a blown lead, but it seemed like they were letting the Celtics get way too many second chance opportunities. Now, when you look at the numbers, it's deceiving, because the Celtics had 13 offensive rebounds, the Sixers had 12. But it seemed like the Celtics were just taking advantage of those second chance more than the Sixers were. And a prime example of that was Jaylen Brown missing 2 foul shots. Immediately, the Celtics grab the rebound, give it right back to Jaylen Brown, and he hits a shot. You can't let that happen. When they're going to bail you out, you need to attack the glass. And there was a lot of lazy offensive rebounds that the Sixers were giving up. There was a key one late in the game where I think it was Robert Williams grabbed the board, and Joel Embiid completely lost track of where Robert Williams was on the court. He was out of bounds, and he snuck behind him and grabbed the offensive board. That can't happen. So you cannot let them off the hook when they're going to give you the opportunity of a missed shot. The next one is Sixers can't blow a huge lead. I don't need to break news with that one. Sixers can't go cold and find themselves in a hole like they did in the fourth quarter. I don't think they can start out a game like that, because I don't know if they're good enough to dig themselves a hole like they did in previous games and then get out of it. Now, in previous games, to their credit, they have, but then they found themselves in the hole again to start the second half, and they weren't able to dig themselves out of it. I don't think they're good enough. So I think they kind of neither need to be toe-to-toe with the Celtics, or they need to jump out to a lead like they did the other night. And then the final thing is Sixers can't give the Celtics second chance opportunities. Kind of talked about that a little bit. So, yeah, that was it.
I think that's all.
You guys got anything else?
No, I think
I'm sorry.
Is there anything else?
No,
there couldn't be anything else.
Yeah, I realized there was something else, because I added the one with Sixers can't let the Celtics off the hook, and that was actually the other one. The Sixers can't let the Celtics off the hook, and what I meant by that, so erase what I said earlier, because that was the last point. Sixers got the Celtics into early foul trouble really early on in the game. Jaylen Brown had 2 quick fouls, and then they just completely stopped attacking. The Celtics went from having, I think, 6 fouls in the first quarter and then just 1 foul in the second. And there was nobody in that game that was in danger of fouling out for the Celtics. And this is a game that went in overtime. I feel like that cannot happen. If you're going to have guys like James Harden and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid who make a living kind of getting points in the paint, you can't have a situation where you're not attacking, especially guys that are in a foul trouble, especially guys as key as Jaylen Brown. If they're going to take him out of the game with foul trouble and bring him back in, I feel like you have to attack that guy. So I can't think you can just let them off the hook. The fact that they went into overtime and nobody on the Celtics was in serious danger of fouling out, I thought was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, Maxey's got to change the way he attacks the basket a little bit. And by that, I mean, I want him to still be aggressive. I want him to go at the rim. But people are leaving, whether it's Tatum, whether it's Williams, whoever, they're leaving their men to come block his shot. And it's happening too often. So I don't know if he needs to keep his head up a little bit better and look for that little drop-off pass when he drives to the basket. Maybe a stutter step before he shoots, like a fake going up and then going around and finding some other angle to shoot the basketball. But they're lining up to block his shot too easily anymore.
I think the 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. For details, go to Bagster.com. Dave Schaller just sent a note.
Oh, he did?
Doc Rivers is going to just take that segment and play it for the team.
Oh,
Pat,
nice.
your thing. The things he can't, he's going to play it.
It's funny because I got a text from Dave Schaller that said, "Shut your mic off. This is horrible."
Dave, I think, thought that would be just Doc can just play that for the team tonight.
Maybe he was re-listening to Shakeisms. I don't know.
Oh, Doc just sent me a text.
And said what?
He said Egan only has 6. I have 8. So
you're missing a couple.
Well,
what made you go to 6? You just started listing things and you said...
No, I was originally going to go to 5, and then I remembered the last point, which was the... I don't remember the last point.
He's a big Adam Joseph
I don't
fan.
remember what it was.
Karen Rodgers fan.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Oh, I think the last point was the second chance opportunities. Was the offensive rebounding. So I remembered that and I just added it. It was originally 5, but
okay.
I don't know, man.
It made me laugh last night when I saw you had
just
6 ways these Sixers.
Just move on.
Six
things.
Is this a violation or not? That Adam Joseph yesterday was saying that his son, who's a huge sports fan, is he has not seen a loss this year. Sixers, Phillies, like he's gone to games.
Oh, really?
He has not seen during this calendar year. He's been to 2 Phillies games win, the Sixers games win. Everything he's been to is a win. And I said, go grab Game 6 tickets then.
Or drive up to Boston today.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
That would be even better.
So I said, get tickets. And he goes, well, I thought you had the hookup for that. I'm like, what? I said, yeah, I mean, like, you know.
Matt Cord and I were talking about that on the floor on Sunday, about how people just assume we can get tickets for games,
you got tickets,
you know?
yes.
I think Matt's girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure what the title is there, was coming to the game, and he's like, you know, I can't even get, like, people say to me, oh, she got to sit with you. He's like, I can't get her a ticket again. She got to buy one.
Yes,
I mean, it's playoffs. They don't like just hand out tickets.
Well, how many do you need, Matt?
Yeah,
Matt, let's get Matt his. How many do you need, Tyrese? Matt, now let's go to the beat writers.
Yeah.
Now it's good. Devon. Now Devon gets 3 as part of his deal, right? He gets 1 for himself and 3.
If there's anybody at our station that would be able to find tickets, it would be Devon.
I think Devon's got 3 though as part of his deal with the Fanatic plus him.
I was driving into the game the other day, and I was on the phone with my cousin as I'm driving in, and she hears me say hi to somebody. She's like, where are you going? I said, I'm just pulling into the parking lot. I'm going to the Sixers game. And she's like, you get to park for free? And I'm like, well, yeah, you're so lucky. I'm like, it's my job. You think I'm going to pay $25 every time I go to a game to park when it's my job?
They don't know, man. They might.
I got to tell you this, though.
I was surprised.
What, parking for free?
I was surprised when I first started doing this that there was like a parking list that you could get on.
Oh, really?
I thought there might be, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Wino Eagles parking is absolutely... The Eagles have a great setup for parking. Really, really nice.
That's cool.
So they got that set up. That's about it.
I mean,
but I've never thought of it as that. Though.
It's like
wow, free parking. Like, you know, like that's the thing.
Well, you guys have been doing it too long. That's
yeah, you're probably right.
That could be.
When you first start out and you're like, wow, this is cool, man.
It's free parking.
There's a list and they're not asking too many questions. Then again, I usually email, can you put me down as Devon Givens? And
then that works out.
And then when I show up, I just...
Aren't they disappointed when they meet you, though?
Every damn time. Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They always say, I thought you'd be taller.
Hey, we head into the final stretch of the morning, presented by Stretch Zone. If you want to relieve sore muscles, increase your flexibility and range of motion, book a free 30-minute stretch session today at stretchzone.com. All right, now James Harden and Joel Embiid.
Heard of them?
They're always expected to come up big for the Sixers. But I want to get on this, and I don't want to make this negative on it, but isn't it time that the expectation level, not that we want more, but that the expectation and critique level should become higher on Tyrese Maxey? Tyrese is a fan favorite. Tyrese is loved, and we love Tyrese. He's a great, great dude. But isn't it about time that the expectation level on him is raised, that, you know what, the production has not been good enough?
I'm okay with that.
Do you believe it's coming? That day is coming, though. Because I don't think it's here. I think everything is sort of soft pedaled a bit when we're talking about Tyrese.
He's still the sidebar story. He's not the main story. As obviously you said, it's Embiid and Harden, as well it should be. But at some point, and it's coming soon, he might become the column on Sunday that says, where are you? What happened to you? I know it's only third year in. I understand that. And yes, he's still young. He's, I believe, 22. And maybe that's a little much.
And we all love him. Everybody loves him in town.
But that's okay to have expectations. His play has warranted us to have expectations for him. So I look at tonight. It's funny you brought this up. I didn't know which way you were going.
I think he gets a bit of a free pass.
I
really
think tonight's a breakout night for him.
I'd love to see it.
I do. I think tonight he comes up clutch. I think tonight it's, all right, you really got something there. And what does that mean? I think he comes up with some big baskets. I love the phrase that McGinnis used when we talked to him, in the guts of the game. He said Tobias Harris might hit a three in the guts of the game. I love that phrase. I think Maxey's going to give you something tonight in the guts of the game. And I think he's going to propel his playoff experience tonight to a little bit of a different level.
That made me really happy. That would be absolutely fantastic.
I say it because I do think he's going to do it. I also say it with a tinge of that I know he needs to do it.
Everybody's rooting for him.
Sure. Oh, favorite. I even said to my wife the other day, we were watching the game, and I said, besides Maxey, who's your favorite Sixer? Because it's just a given. With her, with my daughter Jenna, they love Maxey, and it's just a no-brainer.
That's a lot of people.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I agree, Pat.
And I think it's his attitude that he has on the court. I think Kate brought it up, or maybe Doris Burke brought it up. Like, he's always smiling.
Yes.
He's just got that kind of personality that reminds me a little bit of Jamie Lynch. You know, you see him, and you just want to smile.
Got that big smile on his face?
Yeah. That guy's having fun.
I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, Pat, and so I'm at the doctor's appointment, and the doctor walks in. And if I told you that we would say he could be Jamie Lynch's brother without the alopecia.
Okay.
He's Jamie's brother. Size, stature, glasses.
Is he goofy?
He smiled the whole time. He very much, you get a great doctor that puts you at ease.
Is he gassy?
I don't know, and I'm hoping he's not.
Okay.
I'm hoping he's not because
I'm going to expose myself tomorrow.
It is a confined space. So I'm hoping he's not.
We do have audio of that doctor that looks like Jamie. And
really?
The reason why he got into becoming a doctor instead of being a lawyer or something like that.
I do like balls.
Oh, I didn't realize. So, okay.
He made it his passion.
See, that's interesting.
Yeah.
He decided specialize in it.
I'm a big Woody.
But this guy could be Jamie's brother. Like, stature-wise, you would say, dude, that could absolutely be his brother Jamie.
That's cool.
If he has a long-lost brother out there, out in the back.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd trust Jamie coming into
I would not.
A room telling me what to do.
I don't know. Not.
Yeah. Jason says the answer to my question is yes. He's played enough games, especially in the playoffs, that the Heat needs to be, because everything is soft. All the critique of Tyrese Maxey is very soft-pedaled. I really do believe when fans even say it. They need Tyrese to step up tonight. Somebody else that's always in it, like, we could use him to do, like everybody's rooting him on. But I think it's about time to say he's played in enough playoff games.
He's been
around enough. It's time to step up and have one of those games. And I certainly hope tonight's going to be the night.
Yeah, I think it's time. It is time. And maybe Doc's had that talk with him. You still see Doc all the time on him.
Oh, yes.
And it's the youngness of him. It's the teaching point of it. It's the position that Doc Rivers played in the NBA for so many years. So he's going to have his ear mostly. I like that you brought this up, John. I would look at tonight, and if I was a coach, I wouldn't mind going to Tyrese and saying, tonight's your night. Make it your night.
Johnny in Cherry Hill checks in with us. Johnny, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? I just wanted to touch on the point you guys bringing up with Maxey right now. I feel the same way, but looking at the games when all the rotations are said and done, like with the picks and everything, I see Tobias Harris with the favorable matchup. I need to see him more be aggressive with the cutting toward the basket where Harding and Joel doing their pick and rolls and posting down the guy. I need to see more. But I think with Maxey is more mental because we know the talent is there. So when he gets over that hurdle mentally and say, you know what, give me the ball. It's my game. It's my time now. That's when we're going to see the best of Maxey.
Okay, I get you there. It's weird. Talk about a little bit more when you say the favorable matchup for Tobias Harris.
Well, I see him when he's matched up with White or Brogdon or Smart. You could take them. I mean, he could take them to the middle and do his little jump shot, or I could see him cutting more. As he cuts more, Harden is going to find them, and he's a good finisher in the paint. I just want to see a little bit more aggressive from Tobias, because with Maxey, I think is more mental because his skills is there. Once he gets over that, once he gets that killer mentality, like it's my time to shine, my guys need me to just to be a gun, AI mode. You know what I mean? Give me that. That's when we'll see the best of them because the talent is there.
I love your enthusiasm, Johnny. They winning the night?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love hearing
Absolutely.
that. Could be a drop. Absolutely. That is just driven home. I have a very I don't know if I didn't tell Pat because we didn't talk about it this morning. Pat, I woke up this morning and I have a very strange feeling that the Sixers are winning tonight.
That's just
almost like it could be gas. It could be.
It's just the bubble gut.
You also have a very strong feeling that this game or this series is going to 7 games.
Yes.
So you have the away team winning the next 2 games.
I have a weird feeling about tonight's game.
Was there any chance that vitamin you took this morning was just blue? It was a blue pill.
It was Dr. Avidan Appel. He doesn't. I don't have to take them at work.
Now you're a kickstand.
Yeah.
No, he told me to put them in the nightstand.
This room is getting crowded.
He said put them right in the nightstand, and he says, and do not let your wife change nightstands on you.
Bob's over there like, John, why are you poking me?
Do not let you change.
Stop kicking
without
me.
your hands. What's going on down there under that table?
Look, I'm not Tom Alford in here managing a microphone, manhandling it, like anything like that. Tommy Green comes in with the insights on whether Nola and Wheeler are finally ready to step up. This team needs them. We'll talk to Tommy next.
back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, when someone gets hurt, we know who to call, but what about if someone's having a mental health crisis? The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers free, confidential support around the clock, so don't hesitate. Call 988. Remember, Game 5 tonight, Sixers Celtics, right here on The Fanatic. It'll be Devon and Bob starting at 6, right after the best show ever.
We'll be in studio tonight, breaking it down, getting you ready.
And then the Sixers Celtics, you heard Tom McGinnis earlier with us. That'll be a great broadcast tonight right here on The Fanatic. Do not miss it. We're glad to have Tommy Green in studio with us. As always, brought to you by the Siren ETF Trust, distributor, Foreside Financial Services, LLC. Thomas, how are you this morning?
Glad to be back with you, my friend.
Glad to be here.
Did you ever get Thomas? Is that when somebody's mad at you? Your parents call you Thomas? Or?
Well, my mom, when she was living, she used to call me my full name, real name is named after my father's, Ira Thomas Green Jr.
Whoa, we just got that. I did not know that.
Yes, my mother used to mess with me. Used to call me It.
Ira Thomas.
Because of it. She'd mess with me every now and then. It. Yeah.
Was that the sirens call in your house from Mom when you got when Mom was pissed?
No, Mom didn't get all that pissed. The piss was left to Dad. And when my dad got pissed at me, when he was happy with me, my nickname was Sport. When he wasn't happy with me, I became Buster. Buster, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
No, that wasn't.
That wouldn't be good. I would always get called Tom John by Betty because my older brother was Tom.
Okay.
So my mom would run down like the list of names before she ever got to mine when she was pissed off. Betty would be like, Tom John!
Well, I was the only child.
You were the only
for a
one,
while,
see?
For a while, for 7 years. So I mean, my brother come along, then yeah, that was it. I was too much age difference where it wasn't. He didn't get in any trouble. I was already really out of the house before he just started getting in trouble real bad.
The Phillies tonight open up a 2-game set with Toronto, and I keep waiting, saying, "Well, Nolan Wheeler, it's going to come around. It's going to come around." When's it going to come around?
They're starting to pitch better. You look at the last, I looked at like this morning.
Right.
Well, I mean, I looked at since I last been in here, last 15 days, or so to speak, the games and stuff, last 15 games, I think, or days, I got it down. And they've had, by what it's telling me, they've had 2 starts, and both of them's had just over a 3 ERA. I mean, that's not perfect.
No.
That's good enough. Yeah, I mean, that's good enough, and it's all about timely hitting and stuff. We just hadn't been on the same page. I mean, you look at the Phillies over this stretch. They play some pretty good ball clubs and teams playing good ball. And you look at the numbers, which I mean, it tells you, not that I'm a numbers thing, but it does tell you where they kind of stack at why this has happened. They're like 24th in hitting over the last 2 weeks.
That's really cool.
Okay, I mean, and 27th in pitching. I mean, that's in baseball. So they're in the bottom third towards the last, of everybody. And the reason why we have the record we had over these last 2 weeks type thing. It's sort of the way it is.
You talked about ERA and those guys, and 3 should be good enough. Mm-hmm. Did you ever, if the lineup is going really well, like in 93, those guys could rake a little bit. Does it change your approach to pitching at all if you know that lineup is going to score you runs?
I never thought about it like that. Me personally, I'm going out there to try to make my pitches. Not to be perfect. I don't try to be pinpoint perfect. There's times you get that feeling to do it, but I'm trying to check. I'm not trying to miss bats. I'm trying to make a quality pitch in the zone I'm looking for. I'm trying to stay out of, obviously, the middle of the plate. When we used to work, especially in the minor leagues when I was first coming up with the Braves, don't get mad at me for that.
We've forgiven you, Tommy. It's okay.
I mean, we used to we never sit down the middle of the plate. We always sit in the halves and let our life of our ball take care of the happenings. Now, you're going to make mistakes with ball runs back over the plate and stuff like that, and it's all about how good getting away with your mistakes sometimes, or how good your mistakes are, or bad mistakes, like playing golf. How good are your misses? Do you have a shot in, or do you have to take a drop because you hit it in the water,
right?
Or you hit it in the next county, so it's that type of thing. So when you start going bad, it seems like it snowballs a little bit, but the mental thinking is you're not going out there trying to be perfect and trying to miss bats and stuff like that. No, we're challenging and going out there and not thinking about we're controlling what we can control as a pitcher. Is about us, throwing quality strikes and working ahead in the count. So we dictate what happens around less than the hitter dictate.
We're getting Pat and I were banging the drum on it over and over again about. I hated Schwarber batting leadoff, especially when he went an entire week without a hit. It's as if Rob Thompson to me dug in his heels and said, "I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do what I think is right." Some of that I find admirable, but at some point I say, "Dude, accept the fact that what your plan isn't working. Try something different." And now he tries it one game and he gets Schwarber out of his slump. Hopefully. That's something that can continue tonight.
Well, I mean, yes, exactly. Sometimes shake up, just in and that type of thing helps. I mean, not purposely that he felt any pressure or do anything. Every hitter goes through slumps, and where they don't, hit or they're not making the contact they want to make. They're not seeing the ball. I mean, you see. As a pitcher, I had the best job in baseball being a starting pitcher because the other 4 days I'm watching the best in the business pitch, but also the best in the business play. And when you see guys going good, the game looks real easy, and like you feel like y'all feel like, well, everybody can play it.
It's like a beach ball.
It's like that as far as pitchers and hitters. And you see it, they make it look so easy. They're seeing it. They know. They make the good takes where it's a borderline and they get the call. They know that zone and they don't seem as jumpy because they're seeing it. And some guys you can tell when they're not. They're not reacting to it good. They start chasing it a little bit and that's when things go bad. And Schwarber's tendency, he said it himself. He goes. I've had a lot of slumps. Where I go through, and he's going to fight. I'm going to find a way out the other side, which he's always tended to do because when he gets hot, he can carry you.
Oh yeah.
With the long ball, he can bang you up, which is a good thing. But I'd like to see him bang up from where he's at in the lineup now with guys on, than hitting solo homers. Yeah.
A lot more productive that way.
Yeah, he gets moved to fifth and he gets 3 RBIs. That's kind of nice.
Well, it is. Is it that? It's just the way that it is sometimes.
It's a better chance that people are going to be on base, right?
The way I look at it, it's like I tend to go everything in golf now because that's my competitive out because I can throw a baseball from here to you and and that type of thing. But that's I call it the. You get too big for your britches a little bit. You might be thinking you feeling too good. If games if you're going good and that type of thing. Then the golf gods is like, or baseball gods says, try this. Take this. What are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
And that's part of life. It's about the adjustment you have to make. Sometimes one pitcher kind of gets you going the wrong way a little bit because he's pretty tough out there. He's having a real good day. It can make, to me, pitching dictates what happens. If he's executing to hit what he needs to do, he can put a hitter in a slump. He can dictate what happens.
We brought up before the season, I wondered whether it would be potentially a distraction to Aaron Nola not having a contract extension and whether that would weigh on his shoulders in the course of the season. During the midst of a game, and Pat and I were talking about this earlier, during the midst of a game, you don't think that the guy's thinking about his contract.
Nah.
But the other 4 days a week, is he thinking about, wow, the Phillies made me an offer. I turned it down, and now it seems like we're not on the same page. We are not even close to the same page, and now my price might be plummeting.
Well, it's sort of like the roulette or the gambling of the casino. You're going in to play. You're going in. You're rolling the dice of things happen. It's like getting signed out of college or high school, and they draft you like that. Especially in high school, do you say, do I go or do I stay? Do I roll the dice, or you got that your second pick in the nation, and you're holding out for more money, and you still got a year of eligibility left in school? Do you hold out and or whenever, or try to get more money, and then hey, you're one pitch away from not doing that?
Yeah,
it's gone. It's that type of thing. So, but the way I look at it, between today and back when I played a little bit more and before, is that like Aaron, he's made a lot of money.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think that's an issue. I don't think the way he thinks about it, it's more about, you're trying to get your fair market value. What do you mean? I believe that he wants to stay here. I don't know him that personally. I've met him a few times. You're talking about what a nice young man. I mean, he really is, and what he's done for the Phillies and the innings and things that he has done. I mean, is warranted. The money he's gotten, and possibly given the innings that he usually pitches, every team wants. So I mean, there's a positive going in there, and hopefully he trends in the right direction, and it works out for both of them.
And Bob's casino has a do-over button.
It does.
Bob always tells us his casino has a do-over button.
There's nothing wrong with that. Can you imagine being in a casino, you're down and you hit a do-over button?
Yeah.
A do-over?
Tommy and I have both been there, right? Tom, we both
There's
been
a lot of things I want to do over.
Yeah. Tommy, you're 35 games in now.
Yeah.
I know. I'm getting to know you. I know your mindset of how it was so focused when you were playing. But is there a time with those 4 days off that maybe you start looking at the scoreboard, you start looking at the standings? Is there a time that you say, not that it's for real now, but I don't know. We talk about Memorial Day a lot where, all right, now you get set in on the standing. Who's doing what? Did you ever do that as a player?
Well, I mean, going in, you see who's playing. I mean, you're looking at the paper back in the day because we didn't have the cell phones.
Right.
We're looking at the paper.
You actually had to talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, but I looked at the paper not to read the articles. I mean, but it is what it is. People are going to say what they're going to say, and you be pitching well, and still people be talking whatever about you or what. But used to look at the standing, and it tells you who's playing well. You want to see what the guys did the night before, or that type of thing coming in, and also where the standings were. And it said, but as a player, you look at it and you see that your name of your team, and it's at the bottom, towards the bottom of the standings. You're like, it's not a good feeling.
No.
I mean, it's it's reflection on what can I do to be better. That's the way I treat it. I treated it as what can I do to make my job more consistent that I can do, to give the team hopefully a better chance to win a ball game. And back then I had a little bit to say in the offense side of it, which, when hitters hitting or pitchers hitting, getting a bunt down, getting a runner over, doing the little things that mean a lot. That makes a difference in a ball game. I mean, just because they don't have a pitcher batting now don't mean they, can't do the little things that they need to do to get that one run that might make a difference in the game.
We have a huge Sixers game tonight, Game 5 in Boston. And on a big game day, whether it was a postseason start or, a critical regular season start, every player has sort of their routines. What were some of yours?
Oh, on start day.
Were you one of those guys that didn't want to be talked to?
No. I never changed. I was always an early guy in. No matter if it was the day I pitched, I didn't show up like at 5:30 pitch or whatever. I was in at 2 or 3 o'clock. I mean, no later than that, and I did my normal thing. And the day I pitched, it was more. I mean, I was probably kind of locked into what music I wanted to on your cassette player or your little DVD or what do you want to call it? Like your disc player. And I called it a mood changer, music type thing. You get in I used to listen. As a matter of fact, I got the gold record on the wall. I used to listen to a band called Jackal.
Jackal?
I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember Jackal.
And there was one song in particular, right before I went out, I'd put it on.
Okay.
I didn't listen to it like the whole day or anything like that. That wasn't a big issue, but the reporters wanted to know, because when you start going good, they want to know everything about you. Want what are you doing? I mean, what do you listen to? I see you listen to music. Well, I used to listen to a song called "I Stand Alone," and the lyric was "I stand alone today." Yeah, out there, and the beat of the song, the way the music was, because it was a hard rock group, it kind of amped you up, and the tone of the singer's voice and stuff. It was high energy type. It wasn't like, bang your head where you don't understand the words,
right.
Right. But the music it kind of got me in the right frame of mind going out, more of an aggressive type thing. And that was the difference in me being a minor league pitcher and a big league pitcher, was getting enough of that vinegar in me when I crossed the white line and not being that good old country boy, like, the don't want to offend or do anything. That's about the way I was raised. You know, treat other people like you were treated.
Bob was not raised that way.
I mean, you treat other people like you want to be treated, but you have to learn as an athlete or pro athlete, when you cross those lines, that goes out the window. You got to get aggressive, and I had to learn. That was a learned trait for me, you know. And once I got that, it made a difference in the way I played. I turning a corner a little bit. So I mean, that was a real changer for me for that. But the music was a mood swinger. It got me going. It got the blood going a little bit, and got in the frame of mind you needed to get in.
Did they have walk-up music when you were playing?
No, right?
I don't think so. I don't remember. Nobody asked me what I wanted, put it that way.
It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe they didn't ask.
I don't think they did.
Well, being a country boy, they might have threw some country music up there suddenly.
You know how I remember? Somebody would be coming up to the plate back in the day, and they would play the dun, 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 now batting for the Phillies. Second baseman Mickey Morandini.
That's what I look forward to hearing was Dan Baker. Yeah,
you're Dan.
I'll say I do some stuff with Dan, and it makes me feel young again.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear that because he'll do the call introducing me again, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm playing again, getting ready to pitch.
This is Dan Baker. Gotta love it.
It's unbelievable.
That is absolutely awesome. See, we're all sort of Sixered up today and getting ready for. There's a lot of anxiety before this. Did you feel the anxiety of a fan base? Because today, Game 5, I will be useless from like 2:00 this afternoon, getting ready for this game because all I'll be thinking about is watching Game 5 tonight. And what's going to happen and everything like that. Yeah, it is fun, right? I mean, but did you understand the weight of that on this city? The weight of the fan base? Did you feel it?
Oh, you could feel it's like I've always, when I played here, I was like, you could always feel the passion that they had, and they wanted us to do well. First of all, they wanted you to play like you were capable of playing and give them the effort that you should. That was the huge thing.
Great word.
You knew that.
Effort.
Yes. And, but you could feel that, especially when you got in the postseason. It was amped a little bit. And, I mean, we amp ourselves a little bit. We try to keep everything, on the steady as far as that's concerned, but still, it gets to you a little bit, and you think about it, and you get amped up a little bit, and that's what makes the difference is controlling that adrenaline, that little bit extra you get. That was the key with me a little bit, and pitching bad and pitching good. Some guys got that knack. I mean, they're big game pitchers. The Schillings. Look at Pettit in his career. He pitched. Yeah. I mean, they get in those situations and they tend to thrive at them. I look at God bless them. That's what makes them who they are.
I was always enamored with the athlete, no matter the sport, that the bigger the stage got, look, everybody's going to be amped. As a fan, you're amped. Yeah. The guy that could just keep it calm. Yeah. The guy that could slow things down. Like James Harden after game 1, they win. And the team's going crazy. And he's like, get back to the locker room. It's just one game. I love that. Like, that's my kind of dude.
Yeah, exactly right on that. You bring a factor in that, slowing the game down.
Yeah.
How do you slow it down now in baseball?
With the pitch clock.
How do you slow it down? As a pitcher, when things start and out of things start going awry, which is going to happen, and there's always a repercussion and stuff to what they're doing. If they call or step off, you lose one of your throw-overs or whatever the rules are now. And it's got me. Don't get me started on that. We could, we might have to. Where's the bleep button? Is what I need. So it's that thing. And L.A. says it. There's a lot of guys not in agreement with it, with that because I know we were taught. I know a lot of these guys pitching in the big league now has been around a while, like Nolan Wheeler and all those guys. We're told we got control of the game. It's our ball. Until we throw it.
Yeah.
We got control. Hey, things start getting that way. Yeah, I want to keep my rhythm. I want to go. If I get locked in, I want to go. And then the hitters were the guy. We're going to slow this guy down. It's the cat and mouse game. We're going to slow him down, maybe get in his mind a little bit, get him frustrated, get him tensed up. It's about us not letting that happen. And the other thing, I want to go. I always wanted. I got taught to speed it up, but
sure.
Every pitcher, when they start struggling, has got one other thing. They don't jump right back on the mound. If they're struggling, everything starts going around. They take that. I was taught, it's my ball. I'm going to take a step off the back of the mound. take a deep breath, tell myself the positive, what I'm going to accomplish this next pitch. Slow it down, take it a pitch at a time, and do it. And that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
To do that. And sometimes you have to do that when it's going awry. You might have to do that a couple times in that, 2-out period, to calm things down a little bit. And that was part of it. Now it's sort of like it's taken away from you a little bit, and so it's different. So it's an adjustment. I think they got some tweaking they need to do, and they need to figure some of that stuff out. So,
no question about that. Look, John's coached. I coached a little bit. I'm sure you coach. The first thing you do with kids when things are kind of going out, all right, take your time.
Yes.
Relax. It's okay. That's just totally taken away from pro pitchers now.
Exactly.
And it's going to come up through the ranks.
Well, it's got
to.
Y'all guys know John Kruk, the way he is and stuff like that. I used to he'd come in the clubhouse. He said, back when he was playing, he looked down. We had a section. I was down near Murderers Row, right. Whatever you want to call it.
Macho
Row. Macho. Well, they're murderers, too. You walk in that room, you were fair game.
Absolutely. Believe me.
Yes. But we had some pitchers right with me and DJ and, L.A. and, Schilling in that order. I was closest to Dutch. I was like a locker or two away, and there was nobody in between us until Stocker came, And Kruk would walk in a lot, and he'd look down as he was walking through. He says, I hate y'all pitchers. I hate pitchers,
Right.
And I'd look at him. I said, you know why you hate us? I said, because it's our baseball, and if we don't throw it, you can't play. I can take it and go home. And he looked at me. He says, dang, you're right.
Yeah,
it's not that way anymore.
No,
it's not that.
It's not.
It's not. It was taken away.
The fans are reacting to it. And it's funny. It's one of our listeners here. Scott sends along a little thing where local TV markets, 24 local TV markets, ratings are up.
Yeah,
for baseball.
Yeah.
And that's of the local distributors of games in those markets. So you're talking about like 80% of the league. The fans are saying, we love the changes. And you're really not hearing much pushback from players now.
Well, it's a positive because things have, the time limit for games. That's what the fans wanted. It was a shorter things to go more like it's going. Shorter games. They're able to go to the ballpark, enjoy the fullness of a game, and then be able to go home without it taking 3.5 hours or more. It's hard to fathom me because the game has changed so much now. I look back before I played, and then when I played, and I was like, God, we used to have games all the time that last 2.5 hours, and maybe I'm pitching a game one time that lasts an hour and 52 minutes or something like that. It's called a well-pitched ball game.
There was one that went 155 last night.
And it wasn't everything stopping with the replays all the time, which I understand getting it right. And replay is a good thing in situations, but stopping it after every close play going like this and waiting, those seconds add up too.
Pat and I are both robot ump guys. Bob is not.
Oh, I'm not.
Explain to me why you don't want to get the call right.
I like the human element. I like the human facet of the game. The umpires have been doing their job for 100 and some years. And I think that's part of the game. It's just, okay, if you're going to start doing that, the robot ump, and before long we're going to have Iron Mike out on the mound throwing pitches.
No.
Yeah, we'll see. You say no.
Because it's just getting the call right. I want to get the call right.
Who thought the game would be where it's at now?
Yeah.
The players aren't going to be robots. Come on. This is about getting the call right, Tom.
You got umpires going back there just looking good.
I don't like the fact.
They're trying to doing that. I'm all about trying to get it right. But I like the human element of it. There's something to be said about the way the game should be played.
But this, that before every single series, they give you the scouting report on the opposing team. Every single start, they give you the scouting report. Your pitching coach was giving you the scouting report on the home plate umpire. No. And how they call games. And
I know we didn't.
You didn't do that.
Every umpire, like you said, everybody's
knew
different.
What they're calling, right.
Yeah, we sort of knew. It took a little bit, and especially with Dutch, or if you had a veteran catcher, they got the repertoire with those guys back there, and you trust in them because every day you go out there, you don't have the same type of stuff you had the time before. You're going to have to make some adjustments, and the catcher's going to make adjustments on what he's seeing in you. That's what makes a good catcher. Explain a little more on that.
It's not that
I know with Dutch, with me, you go, if I got my good stuff as far as, the velocity and stuff, but then you have good command with that going with everything, his job of calling that game is easier. Now, if I don't have the command, I'm a little bit short of where I need to be, my ball's not doing what it normally does. Not just with fastball, with breaking balls too. Your command is not there and stuff like that. There's been times he comes out there, he said, it's not that we, now they got, people studying and they got this play-by-play they want to try to accomplish during the game. It was about, you got to adjust on the fly. He would come out to me and said, hey, man, you ain't got nothing today. Wouldn't be in that words, He says, I said, you think I don't know that? He says, trust me. He'd look at me and say, trust me. I might have to use a little smoke and mirrors right here, to get through until we find it. Because sometimes you find it. If you're not there the first couple innings or so, it's about not how good you are with your best stuff. It's how good you are to survive with not your good stuff. That's the key to being a solid major league pitcher and pitching, for any time.
And a great team.
Yes. And it's the guys behind you're going to battle and not get, just because you don't have your good stuff, it's, oh, poor woe's me and, that type thing. No, they don't want to know who they got on the mound and battle out there. So that's a lot that goes into it, is that having that catcher that on the fly can call a game differently because you're not throwing like you.
Sure.
Yeah, because you have those days. Guess what? That makes you human. Speaking of robot umpires and stuff, and players and stuff like that, I like the human side of it.
I don't like a umpire saying, well, tonight my strike zone's going to be this. And tomorrow night, my strike zone's this. I think that's bullcrap.
We see you doing that, but
there is a strike zone.
You need to be getting on. You need to be getting on the Umpires Association about guys who do that being held accountable for it.
Are they?
I don't know. I'm not a part of that.
We discussed this earlier.
Who do you think? I heard y'all say somebody with Hernandez.
I think it's ridiculous to me that we've got the guys that referee NBA games.
Yeah.
That there are guys older than me out there reffing NBA games trying to keep up with the youngest, strongest, most athletic athletes we've got in the world.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I think it's illogical that we're saying those guys are going to be able to keep up, to have eyeballs on things and make the right calls.
Yeah, I get that. And I heard y'all say, too, about being graded out.
Yeah.
People, they get, and umpires in the MLB are the same way graded out. Okay, when it comes to a point that those graded out guys are not, grading out like they need to be or done something about or held accountable for what, and you're always having issues with the same guys.
Yes.
A lot of the same guys. Now, that's what I like. I like the mistakes, the human element of the mistakes. And I like, there's umpires in the past that, we look at, I missed that pitch. And they would tell you they were human about it. Now it's like you can't have any type of, I can't vouch for that totally because I don't play anymore. As far as the interactions between the players and you used to be able to have a little bit of that personality rather less than you're at the ballpark and the fans out there to look at the umpire and they're up there this stoic person. You're here to see me type thing. They should be heard when they need to call an out, a ball and a strike, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's what their job is.
Yeah, you don't want to come away knowing who the umpire is.
Yes.
Yeah, games played by the players.
Yes, exactly.
It's halftime tonight, Bob. Halftime Sixers Celtics. What are and I'm not talking about a score. What are two things that would absolutely say to you, Sixers are winning this game? Not might win. Sixers are winning this game. You see something happening.
Or
do you think there is?
I hate to say this. I don't.
You don't.
If there's a 20-point lead by the Sixers, yes.
So you can't say if it's if Embiid and Harden are both going off, you still think that might not mean that they win the game.
Yeah.
Oh. Just as an innocent bystander on that conversation right there is looking back at the way basketball, you look at the NBA and stuff like that, you got to have that other person, somebody that's you're not expecting a little bit that steps forward that does something.
You've been saying that all day, Bob.
I personally.
Who's the hero? Who's going to be the hero?
Well, somebody that makes a difference. It's always the unsung guy. You think, if somebody steps forward, the big boys need to do what they need to do. They got to show up.
Well, you brought up Stalker.
Yeah.
Stockard back then on that team was a huge thing.
Oh my God! Yeah, you have no idea.
Right.
When you look, as a starting pitcher, you look behind you. You got somebody at shortstop that you know when the ball's hit over there that the play's going to be made.
Carlos Ruiz.
It's unbelievable.
Carlos Ruiz came up with so many clutch moments, but you never thought of him being the guy you wanted up there at the plate at the time, and he did.
Yeah.
So who is it for the Sixers?
I'll
you
say
and Tommy
this.
seem like you're on the same page as far as this.
If Embiid and Harden are going really well in the first half, and Tyrese Maxey is making himself really well known, getting to the basket, hitting some threes, then I'll feel confident. But there's not much that'll make me say at halftime tonight the Sixers have this game. That's honest.
Just looking back, because I'm old ACC basketball college guy, so being from North Carolina, it was just watching the NBA just throughout my life, and not that I'm a huge NBA guy now. I don't watch it all the time. I keep up with it, but because my children do, and I've always noticed. I said, "There's really not a lead seem like it's too safe."
In the NBA,
I mean, it's like the other night.
It's a diarrhea
They were in the third. I mean, the other day, and they were about 15, 16 points, and I was like, "Man, I said, man, that ain't enough." And it went right out of that. I mean, it was like boom, 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 bam, and it was Yeah,
Dean Smith isn't allowed to go four corners.
That's the only person on the face of the planet can hold Michael Jordan under 30 points.
Exactly. That's what Michael Jordan said. Yeah, he was the only one. I will say, I will confidently say, I don't think the Sixers are winning if they're down double digits at halftime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pat, Sixers win, Sixers lose tonight.
I'll go with Sixers win because I don't want to think about them losing.
You're keeping
I like that positive attitude right there, man.
How about this? I'll go. I'm going to go Sixers 113-110 tonight.
All right.
Sixers 113-110, and we're celebrating tomorrow morning. We are sitting in anticipation of finally getting over that hump.
Luckily, I'm going to sit around and think about it all day, and I'll give my prediction tonight on the pregame show.
That's awesome.
He's got to work again on the pregame.
Does he?
So there he is. He's a
hard-working man, ain't he?
He's not just hitting every celebrity golf tournament here up and down.
Oh, easy now.
Taking a shot at Tommy.
Ouch.
The jealousy kills you,
It does. It really is. It's an ugly animal. Thanks, Tom. We'll talk to you next week, buddy.
I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partners, Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Dealers, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today. Do it at 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. We will be hopeful.